Hello and welcome to episode 196 of the Random Town Podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Angel.
And we're calling this episode Drop It Like It's Hot. And in honor of that, you once turned me on to this remix of Snoop Dogg and Kirby.
It's the best remix. As far as I'm concerned, there it goes.
So yeah, that's what our episode is. Whether you like it or not.
As far as I'm concerned, that's the only version of the song that exists.
I mean, there is also the Pharrell one where he's going Snoop, but it's not as good.
As far as I'm concerned, that doesn't exist.
I guess so, yeah, because I think one implies the other, yeah. But anyway, we're calling it Drop It Like It's Hot. We played Snoop Dogg because there was a lot of drops. There were news drops, there were shadow drops of games and demos, there's the hard drops in Tetris 99. We could finally also drop our multi-episode story arc of Where's the Nintendo Direct, because we had it happened, and we have a lot to say about it. Almost perhaps an unhealthy amount of things to say about the Direct. So in this episode, we're going to break down all the news from Mario Maker 2 to Link's Awakening to Fire Emblem. We're going to share impressions of what Nintendo released in tandem with the Direct, which means Tetris 99, Daemon X Machina's prologue missions, and the Yoshi's Crafted World demo. It's a lot of stuff. There are timestamps around Nintendo.com, or if you're on the YouTube video, they're directly under this video. Yeah, I recommend those if you want to hear anything in particular. Otherwise, we're just going to jump right in, because no matter what you think about the games that are actually shown in the Direct, you can't deny that Nintendo did not announce a lot of stuff. They had a ton of stuff. They had 28 separate individual games bullet pointed in their press release. That is a lot. That is 2 less than 30, but 4 more than
as
24.
Much as E3 Direct?
I don't actually know. I made no comparisons. I was just like, that's a lot of bullets.
Then again, the last E3 Direct, I want to say only had like 2 games because Smash Brothers pretty much
It was basically Smash Bros. Yeah, it was Smash Bros. And that's like, oh, also Star Fox is in this Ubisoft game. Enjoy. And that was it. But, yeah, so of those 28 games...
wasn't one of them literally just Zelda, and that's it?
Yeah, a couple years ago. Yep. Yeah. So, yes, in a way, this is bigger than E3. And of the big announcements, arguably the 2 biggest were what bookended the presentation. We had Super Mario Maker 2 and Zelda Link's Awakening's remake. So, Mario Maker 2 kicked off the presentation. Nintendo didn't really have much to say about the game, but they did show a lot. The biggest feature is apparently slopes. So many slopes. They spent literally
slope, if you will.
It was a very slippery slope of slopes, because they spent like 15 solid seconds just showing Mario running up and down slopes. And it's like, yeah, I know it's a big deal, but like that was a lot. That was excessive slopage.
I mean, there's some highs and lows.
Very much so, yes. But luckily, the highs and lows of the slopes didn't take up the entire trailer. There's actually some interesting other stuff also shown in the trailer. The most immediate, of course, is the removal of touchscreen controls. Those are now gone. It's now a slick-looking dial used to select different category or parts within a category, and that dial revealed all sorts of new stuff. The Angry Sun from Mario 3 is there. The stages can scroll vertically as well as horizontally. You can add rising water. There are on-off switches you can trigger.
Yeah,
there are climbable fences.
If you could make like the most stressful stage ever, I guess it would be like the sun would have to be involved. It'd have to be scrolling at the fastest speed.
With water rising.
Yeah, with water rising and falling, and obviously a bunch of slopes.
And then on top of it, stick that weird Koopa Trooper that doesn't have a shell but is driving a car. That was not in any of the footage. It's in the official art. I don't know what it's about or what that's referencing.
There was a code. I want to say it was in there, but I want to say like after you beat Super Mario World and you replay the game, like after doing something, you pretty much unlock like it's like a weird mode where like Koopas don't have their shells. Oh wait, no,
but they're not driving cars. Yeah, the dude's driving a little Jeep.
But they all have like Mario mascot Disneyland heads or something.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's after you beat the special world.
Yeah, for some reason I thought I pictured one in a car, but I guess not.
But yeah, I don't understand what the Jeep's about, but I'm very intrigued. But yeah, I mean, what do you think of the removal of stylus support? Because like we talked about a couple episodes ago.
It makes sense. I mean, it doesn't come with a stylus, so they automatically can't assume you have a stylus running around.
True.
And because of that, I guess I have to make it more finger friendly, because your fingers.
Is it finger friendly, or are the dials more like stick friendly?
I feel they're more.
They seem more stick because you could just swing and then let go of the stick. I was kind of thinking
in yeah. I mean, I'm thinking from like a handheld mode. I'm thinking like what, because they look like big icons. They just look
that too.
Like,
they're both. You're right. They're probably.
I mean, it looks like if you activate that, I mean, you could literally like just like swipe and just like tap what you need really quickly.
Yeah, and then
I'm almost wondering how it would actually feel to build a level. Although I'm saying this now and I'm pretty sure, but I'm like maybe 70 to 80% sure I'm not gonna get this game.
What makes you say that?
My history with games about making games has been you play the ones that are pre-built and then you never touch it again. And I feel like for me, that's not a worthwhile investment.
That's
like
fair.
I loved Little Big Planet. That one, at least those had enough of a single player mode to carry everything. And then there were some very creative levels. And then Mario Maker had some single player stuff, not that much. And then the pre-made levels, or the levels the fans make they really vary. You either get, the most common ones are like impossibly hard levels or ridiculously easy levels. There's kind of a weird, there's no middle ground, at least in that one.
That's true.
And I don't know, it always sounds fun to build levels, but whenever it gets down to it, I either never finish one or just never start one. So I already know for a fact I'm going to regret paying those $60. I love the homages, I love the fact that it's happening, but I'm pretty sure, also given the fact Smash Brothers exists,
that's going to be the through line of this episode, is I'm like, what do you think of this game, Angel? And you're like, well, Smash Brothers exists.
Oh yeah, especially for Mario Maker, because that's a game you don't technically beat. You just kind of keep playing it indefinitely.
Yeah.
Single player games aren't really as affected by the existence of Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Story based or whatever you want to call them.
That's true. I think what
games with an ending.
Games with a finite ending. Yeah. I think what caught my eye with Mario Maker 2, because I also don't really build levels, you know that.
Yeah, you barely played them to begin with.
I barely play them, let alone build them. But what caught my eye with Mario Maker 2 is they're kind of breaking out of what you would assume would be the normal confines of a game like this.
I like that it's a sequel at least.
Yeah, it's nice that's not new Super Mario Brothers or new Super Mario Maker.
Super Mario Maker Deluxe
or whatever. Yeah, it's a full-on sequel. But what caught my eye is the inclusion of 3D World. Mario 3D World is in the game.
In quotation marks.
But it's interesting because if you think about it, Mario 3D World is basically a 2D Mario game. They just had the Z-axis turned 90 degrees, so you're going into the screen. So they just turned it back.
The huge, basically.
Fundamentally.
Right.
At the most fundamental level.
Yeah, they pretty much took the idea of a 2D Mario game and just made it 3D.
Yeah.
But
so if they were to retroactively scale it back to 2D, you couldn't do it with Odyssey. You couldn't do it with Galaxy. You could do it with 3D
Yeah,
World.
they made 3D World worse. Yes, I get it.
Sure, but I think what's exciting to me about it is it's not 3D World in that sense, but it opens up.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. It opens up a lot more possibilities because that cat, having the bell, having Cat Mario means you can climb up walls, you can climb up platforms, and it may be wishful.
Perfect inclusion.
It may be wishful thinking on my part at this point, but I'd love for them to just go oh, sure, we'll do more weird one-off game inclusions. I would love to see them bring Mario 2 and all its turn-ups and carrying mechanics into Mario Maker.
I'd like to see just a Mario 64 aesthetic that looks
like the polygonal. Yeah.
Or at the very least, if they want to, make it more normal, I guess they could bring New Super Mario Brothers DS. Then it just looks... that game pretty much looks like Super Mario 64.
Yeah,
the first one, and you'll have
versus the HDified.
You have the Koopa shell that you get into. You have the mini mushroom and the mega mushroom.
Yeah, those would all be cool because I think
mini mushroom would be interesting.
But... And even let's be honest, even if Nintendo didn't want to do all these gameplay enhancements on top of, Cat Mario, you can climb things. Mini mushroom, you shrink. If they gave us the Super Paper Mario aesthetic, just as an aesthetic, that would be cool looking. Or even they're not, I can't expect them to flip worlds, but it's very distinct. It's very different.
Now that this sounds like the perfect game, like a Paper Mario Maker.
That'd be cool.
Because that one literally looks like something someone built with arts and crafts, with found materials. It's it's basically Little Big Planet at that point, but make it an RPG maker. That way you get to build everything however you want, and the combat is simplistic enough that you could easily create battles and plop enemies around. I feel like that would get me excited, and I would probably get that one and still not build anything, but I wouldn't regret it just because it's awesome.
If they made a Paper Mario Maker, let's be honest, it would be sticker collecting, not an actual RPG. That's all Paper Mario is these days. But no, with Mario 2 or Mario Maker 2, I would just love to...
You get to pick what combat you want. You could pick whether you want
cool.
Mario, Paper Mario 1, or I guess Sticker Star, because it's pretty much one or the other.
Yeah.
Or Color Splash. I guess if you want to have 3 art styles, you have Color Splash, Sticker Star. No, Color Splash.
Kind of the same art style.
Color Splash, 1,000 Year Door, and the first one.
Yeah, that could work. But within the realm of what's actually happening with Mario Maker, what I'd love to see in a more this is also a pipe dream. It's just possibly more plausible. Is have different gameplay options within each Mario Maker interface. Cat Mario is already going in that direction. Turn Ups Mario 2 would be going in that direction. And if you think about it, having each theme play exactly the same way actually kind of takes away from the design choices, right? Because, like, themes are the unique hook. Themes can add more variability and freedom to do what you want, but they all play exactly the same. If it's like, oh, well, here's a ghost house in the original Mario because you wanted to see what that would be like because we gave you this style and we gave you this option and they have to work together. Like, no, they don't. You can have freedom of choice. Like, if they do that, think about, like, maybe this would be more of a value add for you, too. Like, you, someone who doesn't want to buy a game. The 100 Mario Challenge could be per game type. So you're basically getting, like, 5 Mario games when you buy it. Like, I don't know why they're so, in the original at least, so locked into the idea of they all have to be internet compatible and they're just a looks thing. They don't have to be. Cat Mario proves it.
I mean, the first one has some exclusive stuff between them. Like,
yeah, but I'm saying they should, like, lean in on that. All the way.
Like, I think Mario World is the only one that could use the cape. And same thing with, like, the old school Mario. That's the only one that could use the special. Well, yeah, I guess they're not going to model 3D characters.
Yeah,
every amiibo.
Yeah, but that's why it's like I think they.
Yeah, that's just take that further.
Yeah, just go one step further. And, like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like this. So 2 episodes ago, we talked about what could Mario Maker 2 be under the context of Mario Maker on 3DS coming out, and they would need to separate them in some way, or not coming out, but being a Nintendo Select. And at the time, we had this idea of, it'd be cool if they had a world builder and you can interconnect your levels and whatever and build your own little, like, game and put it on the shelf. And, like, that'd be cool, but what seems more plausible and has less dev work and actually means more gameplay variation and more to do would be just, like, all these separate 100 Mario challenges for each type of game that plays up each game's unique gameplay. That's the real dream. And will Nintendo do this? Who knows? Like, right now, they're not even confirming whether 3D World is being added or replacing Mario U's theme. And even weirder, they're not confirming if Mario Maker 2 actually supports 2 players, even though in screenshots there's a 2-player button and the artwork is literally Mario and Luigi side by side in their construction gear, ready to co-op their way through life.
So why do people have doubts? Just because
Nintendo says the player, well, Nintendo says the player count on, like, if you go to the Nintendo.com game page, to be determined. So I'm thinking maybe it means there's gonna be 4. Not, maybe they're going above 2, not only to 2, but it's weird that they're not saying.
That'd be
so
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we only have a little time until they're finally going to reveal the game's out in June. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's already determined how many characters they have.
Yeah, but still, like, tell us at least. Like, why are you being mysterious? No one's going to be like, well, I wasn't going to buy it, but once you said it has 4 players, I'm in. It's like, nah, if you're buying it, you're buying it. If you're not, you're not. That's just a value add at that point. So, I don't know. So that's Mario Maker 2. Pretty weird coincidence in terms of the timing, since we literally just talked about what would be a good Mario Maker 2. And even stuff that we said a couple episodes ago popped up. Desert level, ice level, it's all there. But the other bookend of the Direct was, of course, the Switch remake of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. What'd you think of that?
I guess when I saw it, I was like, oh wow, I played this game many times. At least the first, like, 2 minutes.
Right.
And because I never owned it, I just kept borrowing people. Well, not even borrowing, like, they would just be, hey, you want to play it? And I was like, sure. And then after 2 minutes, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I don't want to play a whole Zelda game right now.
On the spot, on your Game Boy.
On a Game Boy of all things.
So, but now that's on a Switch, and you could play it over a prolonged period of time because save functionality is a thing. And I think it was back then, but you are aware of it now at least. Are you going to get it?
Probably not.
Because Smash Bros. Please make that the running theme.
No, I don't know. Like, something about it just feels... I don't know. I guess I'm just naturally a little less hesitant to play a top-down Zelda than a 3D Zelda.
Interesting.
Like, top-down Zelda's like, I don't know. I just feel like... Actually, I can't even really say that because one of my favorite ones is Minish Cap. I guess it's just...
This one just doesn't resonate.
Yeah, like I didn't really care too much for Link to the Past or Link Between Worlds. I never even played Link Between Worlds.
Ah, yeah.
Because I knew I didn't like a Link to the Past that much. I'm like, so why would I care for the spiritual successor? Yeah. And this one, like, I mean, I like that the art style pretty much looks exactly how you would imagine the game looks if they literally just made it CG. Like, when you're looking at the gameplay, that's literally it. But
I love the look of this game.
But I will say that seeing it was, I don't know, I guess because this other game, I guess because Resident Evil 2 exists.
You have the weirdest, okay, go ahead. Weirdest connection, but sure.
So this game, like, it's a remake, but it's actually more of a reimagining because the other the first Resident Evil 2 was fixed cameras. Every time you move like a set distance, like the camera just immediately changes to the next one. It's almost I guess it's more cinematic in that way.
Sure.
But the new one like pretty much reinvents everything because now you have the camera constantly following you. They change the location of a lot of enemies and how the game flows from one place to the other.
Yeah.
Like calling it a remake is definitely feels like not correct at this point. It definitely feels like a reimagining, and I just felt like Capcom could have totally just made the exact same game but just make the graphics modern, which is literally what Nintendo did.
Yeah, that's what they're doing with Link's Awakening. It's shot for shot, item for item, Emmy for Emmy, the same game.
And I was actually really happy that Capcom went this way because, I mean, I definitely prefer this style more. Like, Revelations made me fall in love with this kind of gameplay. I probably would have fallen in love with it earlier if I played Resident Evil 4 when it came out on GameCube, but I missed that boat until 3DS. But I'm glad I finally jumped on because Resident Evil 2 has just been amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, so scary and whatnot. But if it was in that fixed camera mode, it probably would have been a little more hesitant to play. I still would have bought on it, but I wouldn't be as hyped for it. And I was kind of hoping A Link Between Worlds would get that same treatment. I mean, Link's Awakening. A Link's Awakening would get that treatment. It's like, all right, you already have the Breath of the Wild engine. I feel like it'd be awesome to reimagine the game in a way that makes it new but familiar. That way, because I know for a fact there's people out there that's played this game hundreds of times, and I'm sure they'll be just as happy to play the game 101 times. Like, just it's slightly new code. They're gonna be like, oh, this is where this is where that is. But to me, that feels like that's kind of lame. Like, it's like you already beat the game. Like, let's give everybody, new and old, like something brand new.
I think the thing about Link's Awakening that's interesting is personally, I'm very excited because this is the only Zelda game I've never played, or one of the only Zelda games, and I get that it's on Virtual Console and you can get it at any time, but I didn't, and now I can in HD, so that's great. But beyond just me, my point is, what I was gonna say is what's kind of noteworthy about Link's Awakening, to your point that people have played it 100 times. This is actually one of the very few games in the Zelda series, maybe the only one, that Nintendo has not milked to death over the years. We've gotten countless ocarinas, multiple Majoras. Look at that alliteration.
Didn't we get two versions of this? We got the DX one and the normal one?
And that's it. And it's been over 20 years since anything. But we got at least 2 Link to the Past. We got 2 Twilights, 2 Wind Wakers, a bunch of re-releases of the NES Zelda. And yet Link's Awakening kind of skirted that. We got the original in 93. We got the exact same colorized a couple years later. It's been over 20 years since Nintendo's done anything with this game.
Because they went through their 2 faster than others, and they were just like, all right. Almost all the ones you named were like 2, and that's it.
Yeah,
this one just happens to get the remaster early on because
color.
I mean, not only that, but I'm pretty sure they're like, well, you want a Link. Oh my god, there's so many names now.
Link's Awakening.
Yeah, you want Link's Awakening like on a console? We'll just play A Link to the Past. You want Link's Awakening on this?
No, I don't think they're comparable. Link's Awakening is way weirder from everything I've heard. I mean, it's not weird.
Characters and dialogues are weird, but I mean, if you just like kind of ignore that and just look at the gameplay, it's identical.
It's very it was designed as the handheld companion of.
Yeah, it's literally just the Mario Brothers 2. That game was really weird. It had rubber balls instead of fireballs. It had sphinxes and Koopas that explode instead of turning into shells.
Meanwhile, Zelda Link's Awakening has Goombas and Chain Chomps and Kirby randomly attacking you.
But all things considered, it's still just a Mario game.
Yeah,
like it's just weirder, but it's just. I mean, if anything, that's like the hook it needed to get attention on like the handheld one. Like, all right, its makeup is lack of visuals for like I don't know, extra quirkiness. Like I will that quirkiness to 11.
I will say though, like even if Nintendo's just doing this at face value, they know how to do it right. Like they know how and when to lean on nostalgia. Like it's kind of in the same way that like Breath of the Wild was a reintroduction of Zelda for lapsed fans. Like this remake kind of appeals to a similar mindset because, like, granted, it's nowhere near as drastic of a change. You made that point. Like, they could have reimagined it. It's just a remake. But I bet there's a ton of people who have sunk time into Link's Awakening as a kid, and now they're these lapsed gamers that are perfect for the Switch with, you know, their dad gamer ads or to sing on airplanes playing Final Fantasy. It's like, hey, remember this game? Here it is again, as you remember it, just modernized versus actually changing it into a 3D Zelda.
See, I feel like modernizing it is kind of a stretch because, I mean, it's not really modernizing it. They're just... Well, they're modernizing the visuals. That's it.
But it's such a cool
Resident Evil 2 is modernizing it because they literally changed the gameplay to match what modern games are doing.
That's fair. I think.
I mean, like
I don't think I would want this in the Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild is, you could almost say, is like a modernization of the first Legend of Zelda.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I really dislike playing the first Legend of Zelda. It's like really slow, and I think all those top-down 2D Zeldas are pretty much just that, but just more polished and a lot more refined. And Breath of the Wild was like, all right, cool, I can actually do this. And I mean, obviously, if they use the engine, it just means they're just using the engine.
Yeah,
like, it's just gonna play kind of the same way, but the structure is gonna be completely different.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that would make me more excited. Obviously, there's nothing,
different structure,
there's nothing really bad about the fact that this exists. I'm just saying that because Resident Evil 2 showed me that you can reimagine a game in a very exciting new way. I figured like, oh,
this was playing it too safe.
Yeah, it just felt safe. I'm not like, yeah, it just felt like, yeah.
At least they're doing a good job of like,
because the other one exists. I just felt underwhelmed, I guess.
Yeah, I know, I get what you mean, but it's
like, oh, this could have been cooler.
I think part of it is though they used to always have 2D Zeldas and 3D Zeldas, handheld Zeldas and console Zeldas. This is the first one that started crossing that line now that the Switch has merged the two ideas into one console. So like if this was on say a 3DS HD, it'd make total sense. But because it's on Switch, there's that kind of like, well, why feeling I think that you're getting. Because like you wouldn't expect a Resident Evil 2 style remaster of Link's Awakening if they came out with it on a 3DS, right?
Yeah, because I mean, no, I would.
You would? How would they even work on 3DS? I guess
look at Revelations. That's
not a remake. That's a whole new game.
No, I know exactly, but like they could have completely remade Resident Evil 1 using Revelations engine. Like
I guess. I still appreciate 2D Zelda games. I think that's
if anything that is kind of what Revelations 1 was, because that game just
it's just on a boat instead of a mansion.
Yeah, and they all take and the pace and everything else is almost identical, which is what made Revelations like so great, especially when the console ones were going in a, I don't know, like Rambo super action.
Yeah, like mode. What is this? Like, is this Taken but Resident Evil? Yeah,
it's like okay, at least the handheld ones remember while still reimagining it.
Yeah,
but I mean, it sounds like I'm really down on the game.
It does. It sounds like you just dislike 2D Zelda, and we're hoping they take the 2D scenario and put it into a 3D game. I think
it's another Piranha Plant scenario. Like, I'm really happy how Piranha Plant turned out. I think they did an awesome job with it.
Else.
I just wish it wasn't Piranha Plant.
I will say, to Nintendo's credit, the way they did the visuals to represent how it's different from Breath of the Wild is actually kind of clever if you think about it. It goes deeper than just like, oh, it's cutesy. Like Breath of the Wild, huge sprawling open world, right? Endless possibilities. Link's Awakening, first portable outing, much smaller, very limited scope, very limited scale. Right, it's a smaller experience. So, two.
You beat the game or you don't.
Oh, true. But yeah, so it's like, how do you represent that in a way that expresses it clearly through the art style? And I think they nailed it because what they did is they made everything tiny and toy-like. Like, they then threw in the tilt shift to make it seem like really tiny and toy-like. It's sort of like, oh, look how small and adorable it is. Like, visually, it immediately is telling you this is a different type of Zelda than Breath of the Wild, and this is a different type of experience than if you wanted something that's vast and open, because it's this little like toy box. And even the music, like kind of like, instead of this grandiose orchestra, it's like this little 6-piece ensemble. Like it's kind of, once they'd settled on, yes, we're keeping the 2D and yes, we're going to do this like kind of smaller Zelda experience, they really like expressed it well through how they designed it, I feel like.
At some point in the trailer, I kind of thought to myself like, this kind of feels like an indie eShop game.
Just really polished.
No, that's polished as current indie eShop game.
No, there's an extra layer. There's literally an extra layer of shine.
Slightly worse, actually.
You think?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm joking.
But yeah,
but yeah, I did kind of get like an indie,
like small scale,
indie eShop game vibe from it.
Which I feel like they kind of intentionally is sort of like, hey, you have your big Zelda and you have your little Zelda, you have your grand Zelda and you have your pocket Zelda.
Zelda deserves better, but you know what? This is fine. I mean, I don't have to buy it.
Right. I'm psyched for it, but yeah, it's definitely. I know even the art style has been polarizing to people. Like this conversation we're having is happening all over the web right now. Like,
I mean, I'm not dissing the art style. I think
no, but I mean, like people have strong opinions about this game more than you would think. Like I wouldn't say it's like Zelda levels of like 2002 Wind Waker, but it's creative.
I've seen a lot of the funny comment where people seem upset without really knowing that the original was that way. Like we're like, why is this here? Why is that here? And they're like, oh, because it was.
Yeah, like that's how the game was, you guys. But anyway,
I guess some people didn't know it was a remake. I don't know.
Which kind of boggles my how?
Because
I guess if they're more casual, they wouldn't.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
how dare I assume everyone has my knowledge? That's
like you kind of pointed out, like it had 2 remakes, but they were like both in the 90s.
I know.
Like the majority of people like seeing this are gonna like the ones that would probably be the most vocal are gonna be like late teens,
and we're not all
that definitely probably wouldn't even know this game existed.
We're not all Nintendo historians, I guess.
So as someone that probably thought this was like an original Zelda game, they're probably like, why did they do this?
Unless they like 2D Zelda games, in which case, because that's the thing, it's a 2D Zelda game. You just gotta put it in front of you. Just gotta treat it like a different type of game.
I guess at this point they don't really know. I guess they know all of them, but
they know the 3DS ones.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, they know those, and
technically this one's for sale on the 3DS eShop, so they could know it.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are probably the two biggest announcements, Mario Maker and Zelda. But I'd say one more really like blew up online. And it was everywhere the day of the Direct. It ended up trending on Twitter for something like 12 straight hours.
They really dropped the bomb on this one.
They really they dropped it like it was hot. We're of course referring to Tetris 99. And arguably it blew up for two reasons. One, the concept is just crazy enough to work. And two, it was available right then and there for people to try themselves. So
for free.
For free. If you have Switch Online. So free if you pay a subscription. Netflix did, essentially.
So they're making money through the subscription, or how?
Yeah, they're making money. This is a value add for subscription. Yeah.
Oh.
So they're trying to get more people to buy a subscription, I think. But basically, let's first talk about the game, because what Nintendo did essentially was enter the battle royale genre in the least expected way with a puzzle game. And I made a joke.
So this has no chance of coming to any other console.
No, Nintendo made it. They got the license and made it themselves.
Oh.
And I made a joke on Twitter that it must have been kind of fascinating to sit in the meeting room where Nintendo was like, which IP is the IP that we're going to use to enter the very hot, popular battle royale genre? Like, we have Metroid. We could do, like, a Hunter's sort of situation, or Star Fox dogfights. You could do Pikmin, where you have to have armies of Pikmin against each other. You and I had the idea of, like, it'd be cool if they did Animal Crossing. You had to, like, fight, or they have to like go run around town and get items and stuff for Nook, whoever's last standing gets their mortgage paid off.
Yeah.
Like, there's always ideas, but somehow they settled on Tetris, which sounds absurd, but in reality I'm actually very glad they did, because Tetris is kind of like, Tetris 99 is like shockingly good. I was surprised at how much I was enjoying it. I mean, just to, I guess, walk people through the premise if they haven't tried it out yet, there's a little more to it than what's on the surface. So at the simplest level, it's 99 people all playing Tetris at once against one another until there's only one person left. Now, if all 99 people were dropping garbage blocks on each other, that would be horrible and chaos, and it wouldn't work. It'd be unplayable. So what Nintendo did is they came up with this mechanic that's kind of clever. You actually are only targeting some people at once. So basically it goes like this. You're happily dropping your blocks. You're using the face buttons on the left Joy-Con like a D-pad, which is, to be honest, weird feeling. I don't really like it. But you're doing that because the two sticks are used to target people. So the left stick lets you flick specific folks along the background of all the tables, of all the Tetris boards, or you can use the right stick to auto target one of four different groups, and depending on what direction you hit. So there are people who are attacking you, and you can target them back automatically. You can target top players in the match automatically. You can target totally random players automatically, or you can do players with badges. And this is the other interesting layer of Tetris 99 that Nintendo did not explain anywhere. There's no tutorial. There's no manual. Like, if you have no idea, like, you could play the game and have no idea what you're doing, and except playing Tetris, and not realize there's this whole second layer of badges going on. So there's a Kotaku article that walks you through it. We link to it in the blog post, or we will link to it in the blog post for future reference if any of you want to check it later. But basically, here's how it works. You earn these things called bits every time you are able to KO another player by putting your garbage blocks on their Tetris. 2 bits get you a badge, and then it incrementally grows. So 4 bits will get you a second badge, 8 bits will get you a third badge, 16 bits will get you the fourth and final badge. And these badges matter because each badge will give you 25% more garbage blocks on top of whatever your combo is. So if you have 4 badges, you're laying down double the garbage blocks on your opponents. And then every time you KO someone, you get their badges stacked on top of yours as well. And this is really where, like, the battle royale idea comes in, because it all contributes to, at least what I experienced, this interesting, weird sense of urgency that I'm not used to having in Tetris. Like, I find myself playing way more defensively because I never really know who's going to attack me when and with how many blocks. I can't just, like, screen peek at the person next to me or whatever because there's 98 people, and the game is... It's like kind enough to not hit you with the blocks right away. The impending doom kind of sits to the left in a meter, and there's like a wailing siren that counts down till they come in. And should you generate any of your own garbage blocks in that time, they'll actually cancel out the garbage blocks that are about to hit you in that little waiting area. So that's kind of nice. But I found that like I was able to kind of do my usual wait and see approach, where I just keep stacking away to do like a big 3 or 4 combo. You know how most people play Tetris. Like, they try and build up the combo and then they go. I found I was able to do that pretty early on when the garbage stacks are small. But what I discovered is that as I progress further with fewer players, being left, that's when the garbage stacks get notably bigger, and that's when the badges come in, and that's when suddenly I'm not even paying attention to combos. It's all about just staying alive. And in a way, that's why you yourself need the badges, because if you play like me and start doing 2 or 3 row clears instead of 4 or 5 row clears because you just want to stay alive, you're playing super defensively, you want to have the double, triple, quadruple garbage block generator, because then you're still doing enough damage to actually hold your own against the other 5, 10, however many remaining players there are. So if you're a Tetris pro, like you kind of, well, you're not a pro, but if you're a better Tetris player than me, I suspect a lot of your playstyle already meshes well with the system, and it might not be as noticeable, the whole badges and everything, but for me it was very, once I understood the mechanics, it was very easy to be like, oh, I need to do this here and this there and this is why, and I actually had to adapt my playstyle as a result, which I did not expect from any sort of Tetris game, to ever have to change how I play Tetris. But what do you think of it, now that I've explained the entire system for everyone? What's your takeaway?
I thought it was very fun. I love Tetris in general, especially competitive Tetris, so it was nice to have a game where you get to, play with 99 people.
Yeah. Did you first, did you know about the badge system? The first couple of times I played it, I had no idea. And then when I was researching it, I learned this whole thing, and it all makes sense as you're playing it. But did you even know that was there? Because I don't think a lot of people.
I knew it was there, but I just kind of played how I always played.
Right. Yeah, that was my point. If you're better at Tetris, it kind of, I think the play style already matches. But if you're worse at Tetris like me, you have to learn a new play style.
I haven't got a number 1 yet, but on average, I've been like between like 4 and 5.
I'm usually around like 16, 17.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, it's not horrible. Yeah, it's a very interesting riff on traditional Tetris, because like it adds like that. Like, I don't know, did you feel I felt like it was more intense. Like there's definitely
toward the end, definitely.
Yeah,
toward the beginning, I felt like
it's just normal.
Like until I get to like top 20, I feel like when I really start to feel it, because they start coming down really fast. You start getting like the block warnings a lot more frequent, and depending on the situation, sometimes you're targeted by like a bunch of people at once, and you're like, oh, I'm literally being singled out.
Yeah.
So it goes game by game.
Yeah, I what's actually kind of funny about it is, like, theoretically you could have this exact same mechanic in place without other live players. It could all be AI, and technically it would still work exactly the same. But I don't know, there's just something about the live element, the fact that there are other people on the other side, that like it really adds to it, in my opinion. Like I really dig how, like, when you first connect to your match, each screen with each board lights up individually as they join in like this kind of 1 versus 100 sort of thing. And it's really cool. Like the live player element, even though it's sort of superficial as far as like how it affects gameplay, is actually a really nice touch. Unfortunately, I feel like the impressiveness stops there, because this game is really bare bones. Like, it's as bare bones as they come. It's somewhat understandable. I mean, it is a freebie with your Switch Online subscription, but man, there is not much here. You boot up the game and it's like, do you want to go into Versus, look at your stats, or change your options? And that is it. You can't play friends online. You can't play locally, like multiplayer or against computer. There's a single song. The graphics are super bare. The song gets faster as you get further. It is a pretty
funny, like, Euro techno.
It's a great remix, because it actually, like, I noticed I was like bopping to it when I hit like the lower 50 and it speeds up. I'm like, ooh, this is like Egan's.
I don't know how many of you have heard of this song, but it just kind of gave me a vibe from this. It's just like some random song.
Sandstorm by Darude?
No, this is like some random song I heard in college. The Tralala song.
Oh, the Tralala. Oh yeah, the Russian guy. Yeah. No, that's a meme. I'm sure people know it. God, never have I sounded more out of touch with the youth. That's a meme. People know it. Hello, fellow kids. But no, it's even to be fair, Tetris, the one good thing it has going for it besides the music is and the gameplay, the loading icon. I like that loading icon. All the little blocks spinning around in that grid. It's neat. But yeah, that's it. There's nothing else. Now, to be fair, it does sound like there may be more coming down the pipe. In the Direct, Nintendo promised online events, which is a start. But beyond that, our good old friends that we love to hate, the data miners, they have found additional modes buried in the source code. So we are getting more stuff. It'll be, assuming it all comes to fruition, there'll be a local 9-9 battle against computers. There'll be a team battle mode where it's one group against another group. And there will be a traditional single-player marathon mode for when you just don't want to compete. You just want to, like, work on your high score. What we don't know is how you're going to access any of that. I'm actually really curious to see how Nintendo goes about expanding this, because right now, as we noted, it is completely free. It comes with Switch Online, and it is what it is. But given its popularity, Nintendo could easily do in-game purchases to like unlock the rest of the game, or they could make the other modes free too, and then maybe have in-game purchases for cosmetic stuff like, I don't know, skins or music or loading icons or what have you. Like, frankly, it's all very uncharted territory for Nintendo because they've never really augmented an online service with a freebie like this, in part because they never had a paid online service before Switch Online. So whether or not that means Tetris 99 gets paid content, I don't know, but what I'd actually love to see is for Nintendo to do more of this sort of thing. Like, whenever we talk about online, we've done on the show a bunch of times, we always viewed the value adds of an online service as being things that just better facilitate the core online gaming experience. You know, like if it's, you know, if Nintendo's going to insist on that silly voice chat app, then what makes the service valuable to us? Maybe it's not voice chat. Maybe it's not messaging. If they're going down that road, sure, give us some exclusive games. That's fine. Like, give us games that have a really heavy online component. That's fine. Like, the fact is, the game themselves work great. Like, if you think about it, no one's really talking about this, but Tetris 99 is very impressive by Nintendo Online standards. Dedicated servers. You're in a game within 10 seconds. There's zero lag, zero issues. There's no downtime when the thing blew up and went viral. And if Nintendo's saying that they'll deliver those experiences, but with exclusive games on top of whatever online games you play regularly, like Smash or ARMS or Kart or what have you, I'll take it. Fine. Go ahead and ruin voice chat. This is a decent enough value for $20. Like, it's I mean, they sort of told us they were doing this strategy since day one to Switch Online. We just never really noticed. Like, the NES games are literally this. I just don't think any of us read it that way. Yet now with Tetris 99, I'm starting to wonder, like, what else could they do? Because,
indeed.
Yeah, because, like, after our last episode, and I think they're doing stuff, because after our last episode, Nintendo put out their translated transcript for the Q&A portion of their financial briefing. There are a lot of pieces here. And there was this interesting comment made by Shintaro Furukawa, Nintendo's president, and he mentioned that there's a growing percentage of Switch Online subscribers who are now opting for shorter 1-month subscriptions compared to back in October when everyone was buying 1-year subscriptions. And Nintendo wants to combat that, and he wants to do it by, and I quote, building relationships with consumers and enriching the content, which he then followed up by saying, and again quoting here, this includes planning ways to boost the appeal of the service on a yearly basis.
Oh.
So here's my theory. This is a long way to go, but here's my theory. Tetris 99 is a test. Because, yeah, they can do enhancements, like I said, like voice chat at any time, and that's fine. Like, in fact, they just did a deal with Vivox, the company that does the voice chat for Fortnite. They gave them access on Switch to do cross-platform voice chat with anything, any game. Any developer can plug into that SDK. Obviously, it'd be better if it was baked right in on the system level, like if Nintendo's like, we will just embrace this as part of the Switch OS. But hey, this is at least a start. And my point is, even if they do install Vivox at some point on the system level, like, is that going to fix this problem of people subscribing yearly versus monthly? Like, how many people are not signing up for Switch Online because they're like, give me Smash Online with voice chat, or give me no Smash Online at all? Like, is that really that big of a group that's like, I will not play unless I can talk to the other person without a smartphone? I feel like that's not the issue here. So what I think is actually happening is, like I said, Tetris 99 is probably a test. And it's part of the same train of thought as the NES games, eventually the Super Nintendo games, and Nintendo can continue to roll out new Switch Online exclusive games in the same way that, you know, Netflix does shows. They can get people to sign up because you won't want to miss out on that hot new thing that drops in out of nowhere. And I think, crucially, shadow dropping the games is actually what kind of makes the difference. Like, Tetris 99 worked because it was shadow dropped. No one knew it was coming. No one, you know, you want to surprise people because they'll stay subscribed because they don't want FOMO. They don't want to be like, oh man, I'm really losing out on whatever game X, Y, and Z, and I could buy my monthly subscription every time one of those comes out, but now it's more expensive than just getting a yearly. I should just get a yearly. Like, that, I think, is what Nintendo's trying to do, and I think there's a lot of opportunity there, because imagine if they did that with something like Mother 3. Like, let's say 3 months from now, they're like, hey, Mother 3, pass the controller online with your friend. It's out, Switch Online only. That would blow up. And what's interesting is just recently Game Informer's one of Game Informer's editors was saying Nintendo pumped the brakes on Mother 3 because I guess some of the content was deemed too offensive. I don't know what. I didn't know there was anything offending.
I mean, there was some
Was there?
There was some.
I don't remember anything about
I
it.
don't know about Mother 3 because it never came out here, but I know Mother 2 had some questionable stuff. I mean, it obviously got released, but
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if like Mother 3 had stuff like that. I mean, there was like implied police brutality on children. In Mother 2. Yeah. There was what is obviously a reference to the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
But they were blue.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So, but let's say the content's adjusted.
The world's happy. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's true. Let's say the content was adjusted, or they raised the ESRB rating, and like, okay, fine, it's a mature rated game, whatever. Like if they were to, yeah, that'd actually be nuts.
The gritty reboot
of Mother of Earthbound.
You see DC's logo come out in front right before the game.
Specifically the DC logo, not the current circle, the prior one.
Yeah,
the gritty DC age. But yeah, like if they were to do that,
Zack Snyder's name comes out.
Yeah, produced by Zack Snyder. But if they were to release Mother 3, gritty or not, if you're not part of Switch Online, they put it on Switch Online, you want to check it out, you will want to get Switch Online. You'll realize it's more cost effective to just keep subscribing because they keep putting out stuff. Plus for Nintendo, all these small releases are kind of filler between bigger titles too. I mean, like, think about what we got on the Direct. Tetris 99, the Yoshi Crafted World demo, a pretty lengthy prologue mission demo for Daemon X Machina. Like, obviously these three things don't fill the 2-month void between Mario U and Yoshi's Crafted World, but they are smack in the middle of that gap, and they give us something fresh to do in between. So imagine if Nintendo did that as a surprise with some sense of regularity within Switch Online every couple months. Like, that's a cool reason to subscribe.
Yeah.
So I think that's the direction they're going. And if you think about it, like, I'm just pitching the benefits of shadow drops and in-game events as a whole at this point. Like, I'm not even talking about Switch Online, just the idea of, like, continuous services being what they are. Like, with every step we take further into that world, subscriptions to Switch Online, actual games as services games like Fortnite, or more recently Apex Legends. Like, the more we're going to see stuff like that, I think we're going to see stuff like that more because it keeps people engaged long term, which means more money. I think a really good example of this actually is that Marshmello concert that popped up in Fortnite like a week or two ago. He is a DJ, for those who don't know. He's like Deadmau5 or Daft Punk, but instead of having a mouse or robot helmets, he wears a giant marshmallow, and he played a 10-minute set inside the game. They actually synced up things so like players were able to fly with key moments in the music. They sold in-game items that are tied to the event, kind of in the same way you'd buy like a shirt at a concert, except these were obviously digital. And craziest of all, they had 10 million concurrent players taking part in the concert.
Wow, so they're just keep upping it, because first they had that Singularity event or whatever it was.
Yeah, they keep doing these all the time. And just give you an idea of how big that is, 10 million is more people than is a higher number of people than how many people wow, this sentence is difficult for me. I'm trying to say more people went to the Marshmello concert in game than watched the VMAs last year.
Huh.
And it's roughly half of the viewership of the Grammys last weekend. Now, the Grammys is a 4-hour show, features dozens of artists. Meanwhile, one game with one artist for 10 minutes is able to get half of those ratings. That's wild.
That is pretty ridiculous. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. And I
kind of, if they do another one, I think I would actually want to check it out.
Yeah, I would honestly check it out. I didn't know about it till it was already happening, like, because I don't pay that close of attention to Fortnite anymore.
Appeared in one, would you definitely?
Well, in modern day Kanye or pre meltdown
Childish
Kanye?
Gambino.
Okay, yes, 100%, yes.
But he'd probably get lower numbers than Marshmello, because I feel like most kids probably
Marshmello's very kid friendly, and EDM's very kid friendly, and
yeah, tell me about it. Like, I mean, I work in elementary school, so I hear Marshmello thrown around all the time, and surprisingly, 6ix9ine.
Ha, that's funny. 6ix9ine's still in jail though.
Yeah.
6ix9ine's snitching. 6ix9ine's admitting he got friends to do stuff for him, and now they're gonna go.
Very quick, funny thing. I had the kids. I was at a 3rd grade class for a whole week.
Yeah.
The teacher was off in Paris, and at one point we had the kids make hearts for Valentine's Day. Just color them up. Like,
Did someone make a Takashi card?
Well, they had to color the hearts however they wanted,
sure.
And then I walk around and I'm like, this one looks interesting. He's like, oh yeah, it's 6ix9ine. I'm like, oh yeah, I see you gave him dollar bills and you even wrote 6ix9ine on the hat. Well, I'll show you Jason. He could describe it.
So, thank you for bestowing this honor to me of describing this, because I don't even know where to begin. So it's a heart. Is this a heart?
It's a third grader.
It's an anthropomorphic heart.
So he's like 9 years old.
8 or 9 years old, and made this anthropomorphic, or colored in an anthropomorphic heart that has arms and legs, and a top hat, and gloves and feet. And I think he just colored the colors, but he made everything the color of Tekashi 6ix9ine's hair, essentially, and then put a giant 6ix9ine in the hat. And I assume when you saw it, you just went, nice. Right?
Kind of. I didn't really know
I mean,
what to
69,
say.
nice. That's how that goes. That's what the internet taught me you're supposed to respond with.
And you can't really,
even Trump made a nice
and you can't really
comment
tell, behind the hat, he actually cut the top part of the paper in a way to make it his bandana.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, this kid...
Man, that's a bad role model for children.
For an 8-year-old, I'm like... I don't know much about 6ix9ine. I just know that 8-year-olds shouldn't be looking up to him.
No, they should not. I mean, if any...
Most people shouldn't be looking up to him.
If you have to pick some one-hit wonder rapper with colorful hair, Lil Pump at least isn't in jail and didn't try and kill someone. So... And didn't do tax evasion or whatever it is. So, pick your battles. Be part of the Gucci gang, not whatever Tekashi does. Fifi, Fefe, whatever that song's called. Anyway... The point I was trying to get at with the Marshmallow concert.
Oh, yeah, I already forgot what we're talking about.
Yeah, Marshmallow. I was going to say, I think it's a great demonstration of how, like, these sorts of games and services thrive and why Nintendo's probably moving this way with Switch Online and stuff like Tetris 99. Because, like, you want fresh, new, unique things to keep people engaged. And one-time experiences or special events, like the Marshmallow concert, they're kind of like in-game Super Bowls in a way. Obviously, on a smaller scale, but they're water cooler moments. You want to be part of it. Your friends want to be part of it. You don't want to miss out. So that's why they happen. And I mean, like, it makes so much money for them as a result because people just continue to feed into it. I mean, like, compare modern day games and services to like the big one-time release of games back in the day, and it's like night and day. So Epic, the guys who put out Fortnite, they made $3 billion in 2018. And if you look at like more traditional publishers, it's insane how much more money they're making with the services model than when they only did the one and done releases. I dug up old numbers because I got curious. And did you know, as of last October, Activision and EA grew by a combined $78 billion since they started doing any sort of live game, meaning DLC, in-game events, any of that, back in 2012. That's a huge growth. I mean, obviously that's not entirely...
Did you have to get what was the first game with DLC?
I did not. My guess for Activision is it was probably a Call of Duty or a Guitar Hero. And for EA, I would guess it was like Madden or something, but I don't really know, to be honest. But yeah, it's just like crazy that they grew that much. And obviously it's not all due to live games or games of services, but it's part of it. And like a good example of like exactly the impact of a live game, Ubisoft, they put out an interesting stat last year that a one-time release would traditionally earn them 13% of their first year revenue in the second year. But a live game, meaning any sort of post-release support, they would earn 52% of what they earned in the first year and the second year. That's a lot of money left on the table if you don't do a live game, if you don't do a service. And those numbers are a year old. They're from February of 2018. So I'm pretty sure that 52% is even higher now as they've really like dove in. So it's probably, it's probably why actually EA did a total 180 with Apex Legends. That game came out of nowhere, which is not at all how EA ever has released anything. They do months and months, if not years, of pre-release marketing and hype building. Then they release the game to hopefully huge day one sales, and then they kind of let it slowly fade away. Or now they try and, do DLC. But with Apex, it was interesting because they threw it out there day one, free to play, no warning. They borrowed some of Fortnite's monetization strategies, and they're now raking in the dough because like they have 25 million players in a week.
25 players in a
million.
Oh, million.
Yeah, they're 25 players, guys. They're making so much cash. 25 players.
Damn,
they are the biggest,
really rich players.
They are the biggest whales you can find, and they are so into it. No, they have 25 million. That's crazy. Like that number is just mind-boggling. I mean, granted, not every game can do that in a week. Apex had the beauty of having Respawn be the developer, and it just looks like a really cool game. Like it's a traditional mix of like a first-person shooter with a battle royale game. It kind of like it. I would actually love to try it if I had a system it was on. But still, the fact that EA took this approach of all companies, I think speaks volumes to this like shift that's happening where it's going from one-off, one-time products to services. And I think something like Tetris 99 directly plays into that, just on a smaller scale, and Nintendo's going to keep moving that direction. But I am curious, since I brought up Apex. Have you checked it out? What do you think of it?
I haven't had a chance to check it out, unfortunately, because it being a PC game at the moment.
No, it's on PlayStation and Xbox as well.
It's on PlayStation.
It's on all three. Switch is the only one. Switch and mobile are the only two.
Because Resident Evil 2 exists.
We should rename the podcast. Jason talks about a lot of stuff, and then Angel interjects with, but Smash Bros. And Resident Evil. It's a long name. I don't think it would fit on iTunes.
I mean, I wonder what the next one would be, because for a while it was because God of War exists, but
yeah.
I beat that game already. But
You just have tunnel vision with your games, which is totally fine. That's how you beat them.
Yeah,
I don't beat my games. I'm not
That's what I was saying. Like, I mean, you kind of have to if you want to beat a game through.
You're arguably the better gamer, or the better example of the true gamer than me, like with your limited scope.
Companies don't really like, because, I mean, depending on how long a game is, it's like, if I want to beat you, I have to dedicate that time to it. But the games just don't stop coming. It's ridiculous, especially when you have. I will say this: when we had the Wii U, when I only had a Wii U, it did kind of suck when we had those many droughts.
Yeah.
But when I had the Wii U and the PS4, it almost felt perfect, because whenever there wasn't games there were games on the PS4. But now there's just too many.
And never mind the fact that there's always games and services I was just talking about. Like, no game is dead. You can't be like, I'm done with this game, because then it's like, what are you talking about? It's season 22 where we introduce the wacky hammer. It's like, oh, I guess I'm playing the wacky hammer now.
The sad thing is that as much as I would like to really get into some of these games, I can't, because Smash Bros. Exists.
You're like a broken record, except you're actually saying two different things. So you're like two records. You're like two dueling records. But
I'm never completely repeating myself.
No, I know.
I progress this thing. Anyway,
I get it.
Yeah, because like, sure, I want to play Splatoon. I want to get good at it, but it's like, no, if I want to keep getting better at Smash Brothers, you kind of can't play other infinite playtime games.
This is why
you kind of pick your horse and just ride it to the sunset. And your single player games, I mean, those are your guns, I guess.
This is why...
Or your bullets, I guess.
You should just never be good at any game, and then you can play all the games. Take it from me, the guy that sucks at games.
It's like...
that silence said everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like... I mean, Apex Legends, like I started, it seems cool. Like, I like the idea that it's Battle Royale, but it's played like a first-person shooter. It doesn't have the building stuff from Fortnite. Like, I get why people like Fortnite, but, like, having to juggle all that combat with the building, with spending forever just looking for people, it's just kind of this weird... Like, Apex looks like it's the right pacing for me, personally. So, what I'd love to see, and I know you won't love to see, is because it's just one more game you can't play because you're busy with Smash Bros. And or Resident Evil and or God of War and or whatever the next game is. But I'd love to see Respawn take a cue from Fortnite and actually bring Apex Legends to the Switch.
I mean, at least then I'll check it out for a day or two.
Right? Yeah, like, so far they're only saying they have nothing they can talk about. But, remember that rumor back in January about EA stepping up its Switch support? We talked about it on the show. The one where someone found an EA dev's resume on LinkedIn. It listed them building SDKs to support Switch. And we're like, oh, his profile lists Anthem and Battlefield. He must be talking about the Frostbite engine. Is Frostbite coming to Switch? Is EA going to step up with Switch? Well, he has since removed the Switch reference because, he got in trouble, I would assume. But in a fun new twist, he just added a different reference, Apex Legends. So possibly... this whole time, that SDK that we thought meant Frostbite and that we speculated what would be good EA games to bring to Switch might have actually been about Apex Legends coming to Switch specifically, which is not on Frostbite. I mean, are people overreading one dude's random LinkedIn page? Absolutely. Should he probably not be updating that page repeatedly, and how does he even still have a job? Those are great questions. But, nonetheless, it looks like the dude who was previously indicating EA bringing more support to Switch is now specifying Apex Legends. Or he randomly switched teams on a dime. So, I think it could actually happen. Like, at some point it could conceivably come to Switch, especially since EA is also reportedly looking into mobile versions. And if Fortnite can be on both mobile and Switch, I'm pretty sure Apex Legends can too. So, also EA would be idiotic not to do it. Sorry, what were you about to say?
No,
something?
I just said hopefully.
Oh yeah, it'd be idiotic of EA not to do it, because here's a fun fact. In 2018, in Europe, the number one played game on Switch was Fortnite. Of all the releases, even Nintendo's own. That stats from Nintendo of Europe themselves.
Damn.
It also has been downloaded by over half
all of mankind.
All of mankind. No, it's also been downloaded by over half of all Switch owners. So, like, if EA were to be like, yeah, well, let's get in on that, they would have a huge audience to potentially appeal to. So, anyway, we got way off track with the Direct. All this games and services stuff is very interesting to me, so I felt like mentioning it. There was a lot more cool stuff in the Direct, though, particularly from third parties. I mean, we're not going to go through all of them, but, Mortal Kombat 11 looked good. Grid was there. That rumor of Assassin's Creed compilation coming to Switch. It's true. It's only 3 in Liberation, however, so there's that. There's Disney's Tsum Tsum, which is now a party game made by Namco Bandai, but also has the puzzle game inside it. But again,
the best thing they could have done with the Tsum Tsum, I guess.
Honestly, yeah, but I'm still like, I still can't believe they built a whole empire off little oblong plushes that also make good pieces in a puzzle game.
Yeah, pop figures. I feel like has something to do with it. Get like
totally.
Get like a uniform. I don't know. Model and then just slap it on everything.
Yeah, but to Pop's credit, they are breaking their own uniform.
And I guess people like beans, so
yeah, I guess so. But to Funko's credit, do you see a day with Pikachu? Why did I say a day with Pikachu? A day with Pikachu. Did you see the 2 days of Pikachu? No, did you see a day with Pikachu line? Every month they're coming out with a special figurine, not
Pop
style.
Yeah, the holiday ones. I mean, they still kind of. I mean, when I saw the head, I didn't know it was Pop. I mean, I saw the Pikachu, and I'm like, wait, is this Pop? And then
it doesn't have the it's not quite Pop. It's like some weird
he has
half
a
Pop, half basically.
That's pretty much the difference.
Yeah, and he has a adorable little leprechaun hat.
I mean, still off limits because it's Funko, but
yeah,
I'm sure you wouldn't mind getting some.
I don't think I will, but well, maybe. But anyway, there are.
You have to get the one for May. He's gonna have a little tequila bottle. And
a
Mexican hat.
A tequila bottle. Yeah, that's Pokemon.
And the prop will be like a street light, and he's just like kind of.
Okay, I'm gonna burst your bubble. The May one's gonna be Detective Pikachu because Detective Pikachu comes out in May. Also, Lickitung. Lickitung is in Detective Pikachu. They put out a trailer Friday. It looks exactly how I envisioned, and I don't understand why half the internet's freaking out. Like, of course, Lickitung looks disgusting. His name is Lickitung. Yeah. He has a giant tongue. People are like, why is his tongue wet? It's a tongue. What? It's a tongue, people.
I haven't seen the trailer yet.
It's like a 30-second
because I figured at this point I just want to keep that movie as fresh as possible.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that movie.
But yeah, I could totally understand that.
Lickitung. Anyway, no, but in the direct was not Lickitung, but a lot of other games that I don't know what else was there. Dead by Daylight. The concept's cool. It looks kind of rough.
That game, I don't know. I'm just excited for that game a little, just because
the concept's awesome.
Well, because I mean, it's basically Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And
I think it was the OG one, and Friday borrowed its gameplay.
Yeah, and Obis actually saw him play a ton of Dead by Daylight. That was actually like his go-to for a while, and it's just really cool. Just like kind of the strategy that goes into it, and the different types of monsters. I don't know how in depth this one will go.
Yeah,
but if they do like a Dead by Daylight like catch-up bundle where it just has everything that they've done so far. Like, I'd be in that right away. I
assume they will.
Just because, like, the default monsters, like, they each just play completely differently. Like, there's a lot of, I guess, guest appearances. Like, you literally could play as the Saw doll. You could play as,
that's cool.
You could play as Michael Myers, Halloween. And I like that. Like, also that
not to be confused with Austin Powers.
Yeah. Yeah. His ability is, like, if you just stand still and stare at someone from afar, like, the longer you do that, the more power you build up. So
that's awesome.
So you're supposed to just be a stalker for a while before you go for the kill.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Like, but yeah, when I saw the trailer, I'm like, whoa, the game did not look this rough.
It's rough.
Like,
it is rough.
I don't know. Well, maybe because, like, my brother's running it on, like, I guess as powerful as you could make a computer a year ago. So, use that.
Yeah. Top line as of 2018.
Top of the line. Yeah, top of the line 2018, so
good. No, yeah. To be fair to Dead by Daylight, it's not
someone
out
described it as
fall.
a Dreamcast game, and I'm like, oh,
it's actually very accurate, but it's not out till fall, so they have a little time to spruce it up.
I didn't even really recognize it right away, but
yeah. But yeah, basically the point was, and there's also like the new game from the Undertale guy starring a dog, and it's free.
I mean, yeah.
Only the first chapter. I'm kind of surprised they featured that, but then did not bring up Hollow Knight sequel, Silksong. Like, why not show both? Hollow Knight sold 2.7 million copies. It's a big game.
I feel like
why would you
that
not
one
do
should
both?
get priority over
right.
Shovel
Well,
Knight.
I think I don't know. It was weird. But anyway, the point is, third parties seem to really be stepping up nicely on Switch, and it's cool to see. And that's not even counting third party news that wasn't in the Direct, but should have been. Like, I'm surprised Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights, they're both coming to Switch by way of Skybound Games. I'm surprised they didn't get mentioned at all.
There's another one that
Yeah, there's a third one in the licensing deal they did. Oh, you mean separate from that?
Yeah, there's another game that got announced that...
There's a Yu-Gi-Oh game coming. Only in Japan right now.
Oh. No, damn. There was another game that I know was announced separate from the podcast that I was like, oh, that's
You mean the
cool.
Direct? We don't announce things. I wish we announced things. Could you imagine if we announced
separate
things?
from the Direct, but I'll remember later.
You just blurted it out randomly with no context as you normally do.
Yeah, I'll just look it up.
But yeah, beyond the third party games, there were I
think I could literally type games not announced at Direct during the Direct.
Let me know how that goes. I'll start setting up the next little segment here because what I was gonna say is beyond the third party stuff, beyond what we've talked about so far, there were two specific trends that seem to jump out in the Direct, at least to us, at least to me. The first is that a good number of these games really lean in on the idea of multiplayer co-op. So in other words, Nintendo really focused on the type of game that they know works well for Switch. it's it's the exact same logic they use for why they keep leveraging all the Final Fantasy nostalgia direct after direct, because being able to be like, hey, Final Fantasy 9 is out right now alongside the direct, and Final Fantasy 7 is out next month. Like, that's a big deal to the older lapsed gamers that are now back with Switch. That's what sold them on the Switch in the first place, if you think about it. But to that end, we saw a bunch of games that lean pretty heavily on the idea of co-op, because that's the other thing that sold people on Switch. And I think the poster child of...
Pandemic is coming to Switch?
Pandemic's coming to Switch. When was that announced?
I don't know, but it's coming out in March, apparently.
Huh. Is that the same Pandemic?
Oh, wait, we know about... Wait.
Do we?
So, Pandemic is, the board game.
Yeah. They did announce it. They announced it when they announced Catan and all those others.
Yeah, they announced it in that thing that you get that comes with those games or something.
Yeah.
That's right. Anyway, what were you talking about?
Well, I was going to say, so co-op... What were you talking about? What was that, Jason? Go back to rambling. No, I was going to say is co-op was
Lord
a big...
of the Rings living card game.
That was... announced.
Oh, yeah, same deal as on Pandemic. All right, continue.
Yeah. I'm just going to let you... Guys, you're tuning into a live Angel Reads the Internet. He got real quiet when I said that.
Oh, I guess that's it.
Well,
here we go.
What was it?
Oh, no, I mean, I found the games that weren't...
Yeah, so which one are you thinking of?
No, it's a whole list.
Why are you making this so difficult?
Right.
I know it's not your fault. But why are you making it so difficult? Why can't you just remember? Just remember.
Battle Chef Brigade.
That wasn't it. You're not thinking of Hellblade, are you? That was in the direct.
No.
Dead air. All right, I'll keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
So what I was going to say is co-op was a big thing in the direct. A lot of games had co-op as well. The two buckets of games I feel like were announced. And the poster child of those games within the direct was probably Yoshi's Crafted World, mainly because Nintendo actually gave us a demo of the game alongside the direct. Now, to be fair, they didn't actually show any co-op in the direct, but it was there in the demo.
It's definitely there.
Yeah, it lets you play
through. I played it with Obis.
Right. It lets you play through the demo. It lets you play through the first course in 3 different ways.
You pretty much double team the level. Like, you take the back half of the screen, and I'll take the front half.
And it's not even that big of a level, so
you can imagine how easy that was.
Yeah, and for those who haven't tried the demo, there are 3 things you can do in it. You can move forward in the first level.
To Switch?
Yeah, that was announced a long time ago. You can move forward, in which you try and collect all items. You can move backwards, in which you kind of speed run through the back half, trying to find Poochies, 5 of them. And then there's a bonus scavenger hunt, collect-a-thon thing for a character with the amazing name of Blockafeller, because he's a block man, and you have to find him 5 cows. So that's kind of what the demo has. What did you point out?
Oh, Resident Evil 4.
Oh, yeah, but that was announced a while ago.
I guess I just didn't know.
Yeah, it was announced in December. I think I mentioned it on the show in passing.
Yeah, Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, they announced it in December. Yeah. Of course it comes back to Resident Evil, because you only play 2 games, Smash
No wonder
and
it caught my
Resident Evil.
attention. Yeah.
No wonder.
Saints Row the Third is coming to the Switch?
What is?
Saints Row the Third?
Yeah, that was announced a while ago, too.
Huh.
We don't cover every single... You were saying before how you kind of like the slower pace of Wii U releases. I'm going to be honest with you. I like the slower pace of Wii U releases because it made it much easier to put together these podcasts, because there was... You talked about all the news. There wasn't a game where should we bring up Saints Row? Should we bring up Resident Evil?
Oh, Treasure Knots is still planned to appear?
Yeah.
Huh.
Are you just going through a wiki list at this point?
No.
Oh. Well, anyway, that was it.
That was it.
What I was going to ask you is, since I know you played the demo, you didn't just play Resident Evil and Smash, what did you think of Yoshi's Crafted World? It was a very easy demo.
I don't know. Usually demos are supposed to make you more excited for a game, but I feel like this one just made me concerned. Because Woolly World, pretty much, I don't know, the controls felt really good, everything, the challenge was just right, everything was, I don't know, to me it almost felt like the perfect Yoshi's Island sequel. And then this one gets announced, and it's alright, it's already heading in a different direction, but I'll wait until I play it. And yeah, after playing it and seeing more footage about it or what the game is going to be about, it just feels way too easy, almost to the point where it's almost going to feel like a chore to get through the levels because of how mundane everything is. Everything is really pretty, everything has a nice paper aesthetic, but I feel like that's almost holding it back. And now oh sure, the second level in the demo is the same level but backwards. Didn't really offer much of a change except for the buildings, which you could still kind of see through.
So that's my concern.
I'm kind of just at this point. It's all right, I'm just gonna have to wait till the later levels, but a lot of it is just regurgitation. They're literally trying to milk as much as they can out of one level. I could already tell this is gonna be this, but on steroids. Like just on that demo, you have to replay essentially the same area 3 times.
Yeah.
One of those times, like sure, like the first time we played it, we pretty much got a perfect run on it. So like we unlocked everything, and then we're like, all right, cool. We have no reason to ever go to that level again. It's like, nope. That
Poochies.
That dude.
Gotta get the Poochies.
No,
you mean for Blockefeller's cows?
Yeah, Blockefeller's like, oh,
Blockefeller's cows is a great 1800s novel about the rise of the industrial era.
Like all of a sudden, you have to go get cows back in that first level. And I'm like, all right, so if I had stuff to collect still, I'm like, all right, that's cool. But since the game I was able to beat it 100% the first time. I was literally like, it's like I have to do it because this is what I do with the 2D games or the platformers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really hope it's not as
that was
simple.
My concern too.
It feels like it got aged down, like E for everyone to C to early childhood. No, that's literally the next grade down.
Yeah.
I'm not like trying to jab at anyone. But...
No, yeah, that's the lower. It's interesting because like I was under the impression you'd be flipping levels mid-level, kind of like Paper Mario.
That too. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, I have to go back now because I hardly missed this. But it's like, no, it's just
it seems like you literally are, like you say, you're just doing the full level multiple times.
Yeah.
And like I do like, there are a few things I do like about the gameplay. I think the ability to aim the eggs into the foreground and background, like that's a small but welcome advancement.
I like how they did it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it feels like, oh, I guess this is like aiming 3D because you're literally just aiming the reticle how you would in 2D space.
Yeah, and then it just swings.
It just auto locks to whatever.
It just makes me wonder why they never did that in a Yoshi 3DS game, where the 3D was actually 3D. Like it.
Well, they had their chance in New Island.
I know. Like I'm just curious if like, are the flip levels always going to be independent? Like, will it always be a speed run of sorts where you have to collect 5 Poochies, or will there be more variety? Because like, the Poochie thing felt different enough where it's kind of like...
I'm sure there's going to be slightly more variety.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like maybe like the last level, like literally the last level will be like, whoa, this is what the whole game should have been like.
That's how it always is with Yoshi games and Kirby games. I feel like...
Or even like, I mean, because that's like kind of how I felt about some of like Paper Mario Sticker Star. Or I guess it's Paper Mario Sticker Star.
They take so long ramping up.
Like that game definitely felt like the most Paper Mario of any of the Paper Marios before it. Just because of like its aesthetic. But then everything else got wrong.
I do think like maybe execution, no, but the concept of immediately needing to like kind of like low key speed run a level you did, but backwards is kind of clever.
Potential.
That's cool. That's pretty clever. But it feels like kind of missed opportunity in its current form.
Oh, you mean like that one game where you have to play the game backwards?
Oh god, what was that game called?
I forgot.
Yeah, we saw a trailer.
It was probably made by one person. Let's not be.
Yeah, no, but we did see a trailer for a game where the premise is really neat in that what if the game's already beat and you have to unbeat it? So you literally do everything backwards. You're bringing the boss back to life. You're retracting the fireballs. You're doing everything backwards. Execution-wise, but concept's pretty cool. I forgot what it's called, but it's on the eShop soon enough. But yeah, the thing with Crafted World is like, I don't know. Like, I really do like the vibe of the game. Like, it feels like you're playing a little diorama, and the way everything has, like, a real-world texture is great. It's not just cardboard and paper craft. Like, the coins are shiny. The train is made of various household objects, like a little iced coffee can. Like, it kind of reminds me of Pikmin or Chibi Robo in that regard, because they also did the kind of, like, bringing in the real-world stuff. And, like, Yoshi riding a train, even though he had nothing to do on the train, it was pretty adorable, and I rarely use the word adorable. So, like, I'm all up for that. And I also really like the attention to detail. Like, I think it's super impressive when you do like the flip version going backwards. It shows you all the boxes that were your platforms and your stage and everything. It shows you the backside, like what they were cut out from and put together from. So you see things like barcodes and nutrition facts and all sorts of little nods to the Mario universe. Like there's a Moo Moo Meadows milk carton. And then this one I didn't notice, but Super Mario Broth, that Twitter account I always reference with weird factoids, they noticed there's a box of Yoaster cookies, which is a reference to Mario RPG's Yoaster Island. That's a deep cut. So like there's attention to detail, and it's really cool for that. Just seems like it like they spent too much time on costumes. Why did they have to make 180 costumes and by the way, the costumes are adorable.
I feel I was going to say that's an aspect that also really bothers me.
You don't like that he's just wearing armor of random cutouts?
I mean that part's fine.
Have you seen
like the costumes as they are is fine, but I thought like when my brother and I were playing, we're like, oh cool, red and green Yoshi, and then we were looking at footage, like, are there any other Yoshis? And then we looked through everything, and then it's just like green and red. But then eventually, they show like, okay, so at least the rainbow color of Yoshis is there.
They're all in the intro.
But then you see like, oh, I guess they aren't gonna bring back like the literally awesome variety of Yarn Yoshis, and then I realized that Yarn Yoshi was just so much better. Like, I just liked how Yarn Yoshi looked and animated. Like, this one feels like he just feels really.
He's made out of halves of tennis balls. It doesn't make sense. Like, his skin is tennis ball. Like, he has tennis ball.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I thought it was like when you look at his model up close, he literally. The funny thing is that when you see Yoshi in Smash Bros. Ultimate in his Crafted World outfit, like he just looks like Yoshi, but with like a soft texture to it. Like, it didn't really look like it needed to be crafted or anything. It just looked like they just swapped the texture out. And then you look at the game and I'm like, all right, maybe it'll look better in the game. But it's like, nope, it looks exactly like it does in Smash Brothers. And at that point, it's like, why even do that? Like, just keep it how he looked in Yoshi's Woolly World. Yeah. Where it actually looks like he's made of yarn, and you have all the crazy yarn designs, and he just looks more distinct. It literally just looks like Yoshi almost feels out of place to me.
I think you're being too hard on the costumes, though. I understand your Yoshi as a character feeling out.
No, I mean, why can't they have both?
Costumes are so good.
I'm not saying. No, I know. They're bad. I'm just annoyed that it's replacing Yoshi custom.
You know what you need? You need to scan your Yarn Yoshi amiibo when you get the game. Because all the Mario amiibo will give you stuff. And the Yarn Yoshi one, it is Crafted World Yoshi inside Yarn Yoshi. It looks like he's walking inside a giant rubber duck that happens to be made of yarn and is green. It's beyond... He looks like he's like a Russian nesting doll. Like with one of the big hats. It's really bizarre, but it's so great. And there's also the Labo crossover. Finally, it happened. We were like, oh, what are they going to do with Labo? Maybe they'll have like, you can use your toy con. Nah, he just wears a piano. But it's there. In its most bare form, its absolute simplest form. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying completely. I just really like the costumes because I think they're kind of ridiculous because it's like these weird boxes and he's just like he's wearing them like these weird cumbersome dresses. But yeah, gameplay wise, I don't know. We'll have to see.
I mean, what the costumes do just protect you from a hit, even though you already have a lot of health to begin with?
I technically don't even know what the costumes do besides aesthetics. Because they're supposedly armor.
They made it sound like it was armor or something, but the game already.
But you already have like 12 hearts.
Yeah, and the game and the difficulty seems like it's not going to be that hard.
No, not at all. But yeah, I do. The game's so pretty. Like I mean,
the Yoshi transformations, that was really cool.
It was. I love the attention to detail in Crafted World, and I can tell that the developers are like, well, we're done with the game, but Nintendo doesn't want to release it. Let's make it so when his tongue hits a pipe, it gets squiggly to indicate you can't proceed forward with your tongue. Like little things like that, like don't need to be there, but are.
I mean, but that was in all the Yoshi games.
Are they?
Yeah.
Was it? I don't remember that.
Tongue, yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yep.
I saw that. I was like, that's clever, but I guess it's been clever since 1995.
I guess I just have to... I mean, the game literally is different enough for it not to be compared to Yoshi's Woolly World, but I mean, it is called Crafted World and it looks similar enough.
It's supposed to be the sequel, yeah. I think time will have to tell.
Yeah, it's not a Woolly World, it's a Crafted World, so...
You know, speaking of missed opportunities...
It's like a different universe... Yeah, it's just an alternate universe, I guess.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, how, are we in like what's the? Everyone talks about the Zelda timeline, but what's the Yoshi timeline? What are these worlds? Are they parallel universes?
I always believe and still believe that there is no Zelda timeline. It's so dumb.
There's literally a printed one in a book.
Yeah, but that's dumb though.
Granted, it has 3 different branching paths, but like, what's the?
Because I remember Miyamoto or someone was quoted as saying that.
They didn't really think about it.
Yeah, they originally thought of each game to be its own game, which made sense to me because, I mean, that's how I took them. Like, they're just sharing the characters. But then enough people just had to have a timeline or were making one anyway.
And then like, fine.
Because people like to theory craft, so they're literally like, here, just take this.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, I mean, it's just like if someone tried to force a timeline on the Tales games just because they all...
Don't even get started on the Mario timeline. That's a new thing. There isn't one officially, but that's a new thing of like how would that even work?
You know, like,
but Bowser has multiple children that somehow are the same but different.
Yeah, but games have to reference other older games, and then people are like, "Well, that clearly makes it like a ton."
Oh, well, it's canon.
Yeah, like the original Bowser actually died in the first Super Mario Brothers. Yeah. The second one was like his brother, and you know
the only thing that's come close to that is Cranky Kong being Donkey Kong. That one I can follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Donkey Kong being Donkey Kong Jr.
explicitly tells you, then
yeah.
I mean, in Zelda, like they didn't explicitly start telling you until at least like Skyward Sword, and those were
true.
Where it was like, oh, okay, this is how they made the Master Sword. All right,
true. But speaking of, we were talking about Yoshi's kind of a missed opportunity. Speaking of missed opportunities, remember when EA revealed Unravel 2 at E3, and everyone basically screamed in unison, "Why isn't this on Switch?"
Yeah, I remember even someone like they matched the Joy-Con colors.
The Yarnies are literally the Joy-Con colors. And now, fittingly, in this bucket of co-op games that we have, guess what's coming to Switch? Unravel 2.
Oh, I was gonna say
you're gonna guess something totally
Two Brothers.
No, but that would also make sense. But yeah, there's not much to say. The game's available elsewhere, but I'm impressed how good it still looks. Like, I remember back when the game was unveiled, the devs were saying, like, oh, it's hard to squish it down. Like, we're not going to be able to do it. But they did a pretty good job.
How good that Blade game still looks, assuming that is how
Hellblade?
Good look. Yeah.
Yeah. Hellblade, that's such an interesting story.
I mean, when that
Hellblade.
one first got revealed, it was like one of those, like, whoa, look at the visuals. And
yeah.
That's like, well, it's on Switch, and it still looks like that.
What's crazy about Hellblade is, like, so Ninja Theory is now a Microsoft development studio. It's like part of the Xbox Studio collective. But they started the port of Hellblade before they got bought, so Microsoft's just like, yeah, see it through. So this is actually the second Microsoft-published game, if you will, coming to Switch, besides Minecraft, which is interesting. Very interesting when you consider that Microsoft's also bringing Xbox Live to Switch pretty soon for other companies to log into. Microsoft's going very broad now. But anyway, the thing I was going to say about Unravel 2, not so much how nice it looks, although it does look very nice. EA, they just cannot catch a break. It comes out, Unravel 2 comes out March 22nd. Which is the week before Yoshi's Crafted World. And I suspect most people will gravitate towards Yoshi. Whether or not it's a good game, it's the bigger name. And if I were EA, I probably would have tried to get the game out this month. Like, why couldn't Unravel be out in the complete dead of February where there's no other games coming out, first or third party? But alas, it's coming out the week before Yoshi. So hopefully it does decently enough that doesn't scare EA away from more Switch support in general.
I mean, because at this point now I'm more looking forward to Unravel. That's definitely more my woolly world.
Yeah, it is. It's
even though it's not the characters in a real world.
In a real world. Yeah, I would be down to play Unravel. That seems fun. But yeah, both Unravel and Yoshi are part of a whole string of co-op announcements. Ha! I high-fived myself for that one. But yeah, it's part of a whole string of co-op announcements that also came with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which now has the very timely Captain Marvel tie-in, and a new BoxBoy game, and Captain Toad Surprise DLC. And I think of those, I'm most excited about the new BoxBoy game. It's called BoxBoy plus BoxGirl, and it's out in April. And don't get me wrong, like, all the Marvel heroes playable in a single game with Ultimate Alliance 3, that's cool and all. But I just love BoxBoy. I feel like it was only a couple episodes ago when I was praising the series and said they need to give it a new lease on life. Like, stick it in Nintendo Classics, make a physical release, they deserve it. And what's great is instead of that, Nintendo's like, you know what, we're going to do you one better, Jason. Personally, to me, they wrote me this letter. And they gave me a whole new game. A big game. It's 270 levels. Split between new solo puzzles, co-op puzzles, which is a first for a series, and a set of bonus puzzles starring a rectangle named Cutie, which is kind of like the Luigi to QB's Mario. So, or actually, as Nintendo put it rather bluntly, if I remember correctly in the Direct, Cutie is the tall one. So, there you go. But yeah, I feel like this could really be the franchise's time to shine. Like, the co-op hook will make it that much more appealing to Switch owners in kind of the same way that, like, Snipper Clips was an eShop-only title that blew up in the early days because it was a unique co-op experience.
Where's that 1-2 Switch DLC, Nintendo?
Yeah, that's never going to happen. We want to milk other animals, too. But, yeah, like, if Nintendo were to give BoxBoy and BoxGirl a bit of a marketing push, stick it on download codes in stores or whatever, there's a chance this can actually become a pretty big franchise for them. And, like, I mean, not, like, top tier, but, you know, decent. And really what I'm angling at here, now that I think about it, is I just want my QB amiibo to come stateside. It released with the final 3DS game in Japan, Bye Bye BoxBoy. I was in Japan around the time of its release. I went on a hunt for it. It was sold out everywhere. But if BoxBoy and BoxGirl...
Bye Bye BoxBoy wasn't the last game. That's such a shame.
Why is that a shame? Besides...
Because it's called Bye Bye BoxBoy. I already said my goodbyes, and now he's back. It's like, alright, it's awkward.
It's like that thing, you know when you like...
If technology came back, can I pretend you did say bye-bye? Or...
It's like one of those things where, you know, like you say goodbye to someone when you're leaving work, but then you and the other person then walk in parallel, like a little too long. It's like, do we acknowledge each other a second time now? Like, that's, I think, what you're feeling with BoxBoy. I'm happy it's back. It means I can get my amiibo. But it sounds like you're not going to...
Didn't you get the amiibo?
No, I couldn't find it. That's the point. It was sold out
Didn't you even
everywhere.
go to Japan to find it?
I didn't go to Japan for it, but when I was in Japan, I looked. I would not spend that much airfare and hotel just to find a amiibo.
No, I feel like you would.
I might. But is this the game... I mean, it sounds like not, because you're already ready to say bye-bye, but would this be the BoxBoy that gets you to jump in? Did it just require having both genders?
No, maybe. Probably not. I don't know. I guess if I feel like I need a game to play with Elvis, but at the same time we have like
Resident Evil 2
no,
and Smash Bros.
That's single player, and the second one, yes, but we have
I like how you got all serious, like, how dare you? That's a single player experience.
I mean, if you're gonna do something like that, you gotta get your facts straight. I mean, we have like a bajillion we have like a bajillion Tales games to play, so that's enough co-op for that.
Yeah. All right. That's fair. I will say, if you if you do want an excellent series of puzzle games, BoxBoy is that. If it's anything like the 3DS ones, you're also going to be able to dress up your box in fun little outfits. So,
oh boy,
just think about that before you turn it down. That's all I'm saying. But honestly, I feel like how you feel about BoxBoy, is kind of how I feel about Captain Toad. Like,
conceptually, what? Toad is your boy.
So let me explain. Conceptually, I am on board. Boy. He is my boy. He is. We are both always ready for adventure. But conceptually, I am.
Oh, all right.
Not like that. But like in the co-op mode where I can be the second Toad and he can be the first Toad, and together we adventure in the literal sense. You perverted man. What? But I don't know. Conceptually, I'm on board with everything they're adding. I think baked-in co-op is a no-brainer on Switch. I think the new special episode, which is what they're calling their paid DLC, that seems pretty cool. 18 challenges, 5 courses. That's a decent amount of newness. And then on top of that, they're adding super crowns to existing courses to find, so that's even more newness. And the fact that you can get one of the free courses now, or one of the special episode courses now, even though the rest of the DLC isn't out till March 14th. If you pre-order, that's kind of a cool little thing too they're doing. But I don't know. Like, it just feels like what the Switch port should have had in July is what they're now releasing in February and March. And I think that's where my hesitance is coming from, because I feel like Nintendo knows this should have been day one content initially. And I feel like they know that because if you look on the eShop, they are selling the game in a new bundle. So right after the Direct, they immediately began selling the standalone digital version for $40, or the DLC for $6, or both of them together for a savings of 1 penny.
Wow.
Yeah. But part of me's like...
Hooey.
Yeah, but part of me is just like, no, Nintendo, like... all of that with the DLC should have been $40. Like, the game's not that old. It's not something you replay over and over. It's, it's a single player thing. Put co-op, put the new challenges into the $40 total. And like, I understand why they won't do this from a business perspective, especially since the game sold, I think, over 1 million copies on Switch already. But I feel like if the special episode is coming out later like it is, it should have been free to anyone who currently owns the game, and then bundled in with the standard MSRP of $40 going forward. Like, in other words, treat this like a low-key price drop and then a marketing expense in order to sell more games going forward. Obviously, this is never going to happen. I understand they want money. They'd literally be leaving money on the table if they did this. But it would certainly make the whole thing more appealing for me to double dip. And really, Nintendo should just cater all their decisions around me and me alone. So what I'm saying, Nintendo, is drop that $5.98 from the bundle, make it $40, and I'm in. So, but no, it's just like, it seems like it should have been, this feels like it should have just been a deluxe version at the regular price with that stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
But, oh well.
I second that.
So it's not quite enough to get
motion carried.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Whatever the opposite of overturned is. Abstained. No, not abstained. That's not right.
Denied?
Not denied. No, overturning is denying.
Reject.
Approved. Good for you. I'll just say that one. But, yeah, so.
Motion carried?
You already said that, though. Motion carried, then, like. Oh, I guess that is it.
I said I second it.
Oh. Whatever. Yeah, point is, Nintendo needs to cater to me more, is all I'm saying. And this is how they do it. but actually, one group they do seem to actually properly be catering to, the handheld-only crowd. So these past few episodes, we've talked a lot about how 3DS is finally truly winding down. Nintendo had 0 3DS game announcements in the Direct. That kind of backs the theory.
Well, I mean, that's because they're going to have a 3DS Direct soon.
I doubt that. And you know why I doubt that?
2 weeks.
Here's why I doubt that.
Why?
One, well, I guess they could announce more games in 2 weeks, but the real reason I doubt that is the games that are coming out now for 3DS are not doing hot at all.
Like Luigi's Mansion?
No, that did okay. I mean, like the ones that came out post-holiday, like in this 2019 year. So January saw the release of Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey, which is quite a mouthful of a name, and that mouthful of a name only moved 20,000 units in Japan since it came out. In the world of Mario games, that is the sales territory of eShop only spin-offs, and I kid you not, Virtual Boy games. It's one of the lowest selling Mario games. For reference, in the time that Mario and Luigi was out and sold 20,000 in Japan, Mario U Deluxe on Switch sold 381,000 copies. So, 3DS is dying, is what I'm saying.
It makes sense. I mean,
it does.
I mean, look at it this way. Bowser's my favorite character of all time.
And you didn't even buy
Bowser's Inside Story was my favorite game featuring Bowser of all time. And my favorite Mario and Luigi game. Second to it's just my first one. Yeah, and I still didn't buy it.
Exactly.
And this was after I fell in love with my 3DS all over again too.
Exactly.
Honestly, the first one just feels too recent. That's just kind of me. Like, it felt like it just came out. I honestly keep thinking, like, wait, it's not on 3DS? And then I'm like, oh, I guess it isn't.
And part of the thing is, like, it does feel very recent. It is the tail end of the DS life. But
if they would have done Partners in Time, I would have been on that, like, fly on honey.
What?
Okay. That's a thing.
Sure, but I've never heard you say that before, and I feel like I never will again because I laughed, which is unfortunate.
Sure, the flies will die, but they'll be happy.
So you're saying you want to take a Mario and Luigi Partners in Time remake to your grave?
Sure.
Okay. Nintendo, stop catering to me. Start catering to him. But no, with the fact is, like, you didn't buy it. The new people buying 3DSs apparently aren't buying it.
Did you buy it?
I did not.
What?
No, I know. But no, my point is, like, people aren't buying stuff for 3DS. So with 3DS winding down, it's almost too perfect to see that Nintendo's 2019 lineup is now leaning on so many franchises that did super well on 3DS in its prime and are super portable friendly. You know, like we talked about before, games like Animal Crossing, a core Pokemon RPG, Luigi's Mansion, Fire Emblem, all those are like really popular on 3DS, and now very nicely pair with those reports of a miniature Switch coming out, or a Switch Pocket, as I still insist on calling it. But what really jumped at me in this direct is the extent to which Nintendo is gunning for the handheld only crowd beyond those 4 games. There were a lot of games that cater directly to those people specifically, big and small. I mean, some are more coincidental than anything else. I think the best example of that is probably Bloodstained. Castlevania games have a very long history on Nintendo handhelds, going back to Game Boy Advance, and they're always big sellers. So to have the spiritual successor from Iga himself coming to Switch this year in particular is rather serendipitous. But other games definitely seem specifically timed for this transitional period, and they all kind of fall into this bucket I've dubbed the horrible, stupid name of Japanese anime games. Anime/Japanese, Japanese/anime. That is my chime.
What?
How dare I? How dare I? I didn't mute
all 3 of my devices, and
I left one unsilenced. But you know why it was unsilenced? How else was I going to play Drop It Like It's Hot, Snoop Dogg Kirby remix? That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Good point.
Thank you.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah, you are drinking Kool-Aid. Why are you drinking Kool-Aid?
Of all things?
Yes. Like, we have water.
That aforementioned Valentine's Day activity that we had with the kids.
The 6ix9ine heart, yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, kids passed out a lot of treats to each other, and they gave me actually a lot of stuff. I got a ton of really good treats. But one of them, I guess the Kool-Aid was just kind of random that they gave me, but it's not as good as I remembered.
Well, you certainly haven't been drinking the Kool-Aid when it comes to Nintendo's announcements, am I right?
Oh, no.
Anyway.
I stopped drinking that.
You stopped drinking a long time ago.
You, though.
Nah, I'm somewhere in the middle. But anyway, the point I was gonna make about this anime Japanese game bucket, Japanese anime game. I don't know what to call it, but it's like, you know it when you see it. Stuff like strategy games, RPGs, story-heavy, narrative-driven adventures, things that look like anime. Like, my point is, I don't think it's a coincidence that Rune Factory is suddenly getting a big push on Switch with both 4 Special Edition and the announcement of 5 being in development. And I don't think over in Japan that Nintendo announcing a Switch version of Story of Seasons is a coincidence. I mean, also that's a weird Story of Seasons because it's an unexpected crossover with Doraemon, the little cat guy, and his cohorts. So that's kind of random. But like that's definitely strategically timed. And, they're both franchises that have done well on DS and 3DS. Even stuff like Oninaki being announced kind of fits this bill. I mean, technically it's from developers of Switch games. They did I Am Setsuna, they did Lost Sphere. They're the Tokyo team at Square Enix. But it caters to the exact same demographic that eats up all the JRPGs on 3DS. And, this doesn't even include previously announced projects like Shin Megami Tensei 5, which also caters to this market and supposedly at one point at least was coming out this year. So I think there's a very clear, concentrated effort to cater to that demographic and get them on board with Switch. Coincidentally, not so coincidentally, the year that the Switch Mini is coming out, where it's going to be the cheaper Switch to cater to that same handheld crowd. But I think
confirmed.
Not confirmed, but reported. I think one of the best third-party examples, though, of this whole trend is probably Dragon Quest. Here in the States, the games do decently, but obviously in Japan they are huge. And I mean, there's a reason there were 3 separate Dragon Quest games in the Japanese Direct, which is one more than the already unusually high 2 we had in America. So we had Builders and 11, And in Japan, they had Builders 11 and the Rivals, which is the free-to-play card game.
Oh.
It's a port from the mobile world, the smartphone world. They did not announce 12 at the same time as 11, although that would have been pretty good. But, yeah, like the thing about Dragon Quest is the franchise...
I mean, they announced 5 at the same time that they announced 4, so... And there's also like a deluxe edition of 11 because that one came out.
Okay, that's a good point.
They're both RPGs.
That's a good point. I should start drinking the Kool-Aid. But the thing about Dragon Quest is the franchise in general has just been intertwined with DS and 3DS for a number of years. Like, it kind of serves as a perfect bridge to Switch more than even some of the other games. Like, to be fair, I should say the latest mainline entry, which is Dragon Quest 11, that was released on PS4 here in the West. But putting this newly dubbed S Definitive Edition on Switch, having it be exclusive, having it be published by Nintendo, it is a strong vote of confidence in the game and what Nintendo thinks, I think, it could mean for bringing people to Switch in the first place. So that's kind of the significance to me. And honestly, like, even as someone who's never really played a Dragon Quest, I kind of get the appeal here. Like, this Dragon Quest 11, its full name being Echoes of an Elusive Age S Definitive Edition, this game, like, it feels to me, from what I've seen of it, kind of like the Breath of the Wild of Dragon Quest. And I don't mean necessarily in just a superficial ways.
I'm kidding.
I don't mean good. It's horrible, guys. No, I don't mean like superficially only. Like,
even though it's debatable, but yeah.
Well, I've heard it's pretty good.
Oh no, I'm talking about Breath of the Wild.
Oh, okay, Mister. You want all your Zeldas to be like Breath of the Wild? Okay.
No, no, I was saying that whether Breath of the Wild was good is debatable.
Oh,
so no, it's not perfect. I want them all to be like Minish Cap.
Would you play a Minish Cap in the Breath of the Wild engine?
Well, yeah, I'll play anything that's new because I'm curious how it'll play.
All right, fair enough. Except you won't play Link's Awakening apparently, so got you there. You mean anything new in the Breath of the Wild 3D?
Yeah, engine. This is not. Yeah. I would have played Link's Awakening if it was done in a new direction, because then it's like I have a reason to.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. But the
game is not going to be any more fun than it probably was on the Game Boy because it's like the exact same game. It just looks prettier.
So much prettier. But anyway, Dragon Quest. We talked about Zelda earlier. Don't want to dig up that old conversation. But Dragon Quest. If you guys want to dig up that old conversation, you can rewind approximately an hour, and we'll be right there. But the point I was trying to make about Dragon Quest is it does kind of feel like Breath of the Wild to me. I mean, the most superficial ways are the main character kind of looks like Link. He kind of wields a sword and he has a silly glowing emblem on his hand, which that's happened in Zelda before. And they both. He's
a chosen one of sorts.
He's a chosen one. He has to open his eyes. They don't actually say that, but they both have open worlds to explore.
Games have slimes.
They both what?
Both games have slime.
They both have slime. Do they? Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess they do. They both have a foraging system.
Except in they're called choo-choos, but
true,
slimes.
True. But
you mean choo-choo?
True. But what I was starting to say is they both have foraging systems. In Zelda, it's in Breath of the Wild, it's recipes, but in Dragon Quest, it's items or weapons. So similar. But I mean, on a deeper level, they seem to both play into this idea of getting older or lapsed fans back in. Like Breath of the Wild, you made the point at the top of the show that like it is a return to form. It is like the spiritual successor of the original Zelda, the exploration, the free-form progression, doing what you want. Dragon Quest XI, they're doing it more literally as a throwback by actually letting you turn on a throwback. There's a 16-bit filter that will literally at any time convert the game into a Super Nintendo game again.
It's like that one game that came out on the Switch really early on.
Except this one's significantly more it's a significantly bigger scale because it's the overworld. Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's that idea. It's that exact idea.
It'd be if Resident Evil 2, the remake, had a button and it literally fixed all the camera angles and like pretty much made it play instead of doing.
Here's a better one. It'd be like if Link's Awakening remake switches back to Game Boy.
And give you a PlayStation filter.
So Link's Awakening switching its graphics back is probably more the simpler version of. Yeah.
Well, no, because I mean the reason I brought that one up is because it's changing the perspective of the game. Like normally it's like an open worldish looking kind of behind the shoulder camera game,
right?
And like pretty much like Breath of the Wild, and then it literally goes into a top down.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like that's pretty nuts. Like,
that would be
just the fact that they have to, I guess, limit the 3D one, I guess, in some ways, because
so that's what I think's interesting is like the subtext here of this whole thing is if you like playing Dragon Quest as a kid, if you remember Dragon Quest from back in the day, this game can switch to it on the fly, meaning this game will check all the same boxes as what you want, just modernized. Like that, they're saying you can add a filter, but the underlying message is this is exactly the Dragon Quest you remember, except modern. But if you want modern, switch it back at any time.
Are you gonna get it?
I don't know. I've never actually played a Dragon Quest, so I'm kind of intrigued.
Me neither.
I think like
I've heard good things about them.
I've heard good things, and I think this seems.
Our one friend could really vouch for them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
He could. This one, though, does seem like a prime example of how to cater to both fans and newcomers, honestly. Like, it's... Like, this game is, like, really going after the JRPG crowd, but it's also... seems pretty approachable. I mean... I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's too complicated because it's sticking to like what worked back in the day. So I think it's a good first entry.
RPG series, each one is its own standalone game. Don't let the 11 fool you. It's not like the 11th part of a grand epic.
It's basically like Final Fantasy or Tales.
Yeah. So I'll be curious to see if Jason jumps into it.
And I'm curious if you jump into it. Throw it back at you. But
no, but I'm definitely not though.
Oh well, okay.
I mean,
right, because you're playing Resident Evil 2 and Smash Bros. Yeah.
No. Because Tails exists.
Fair. Okay. Oh God, I hate you. Okay. But no,
it's just like you kind of marry which JRPG franchise.
Yeah, it's kind of a lifelong partnership. It's true. I will say the definitive edition sounds pretty definitive. Orchestral music, voice acting, new stories for each character. Awesome. It looks really cool.
I mean,
it's very pretty.
If I wasn't trying to lessen my video game time, as it is because I'm trying to get more animation done, I would definitely be jumping on all these games. But you know, certain games also exist. But
you don't say. do certain games exist, and what are those games? Please enlighten me.
So far it's been Smash Brothers, Resident Evil 2, and
Tales. And at one point, God of War.
Yeah, but that game's beaten for now. I will revisit it when I do the new game plus, but until then.
Okay. So yeah, Dragon Quest is a good example of the JRPG point I was trying to make in the Japanese anime game thing I was trying to make. But I think the granddaddy of this bucket of games that were in the Direct is, of course, Fire Emblem. And Nintendo...
Fire Emblem Hogwarts Edition?
Yeah, exactly. 3 houses. Nintendo easily could have just made one of the same style games as what we had on 3DS, but in HD, and then call it a day.
They even have the point system from Harry Potter.
I know, but they had so much...
I was just kidding about that.
Do they?
No. Not that I know of.
Oh, you mean the house points? When you said points, I was thinking RPG, stats. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't know if they do, but it is very Hogwarts. But it's funny because they could, like I was starting to say, they could have easily just been like,
think of the merch, think of all the shirts.
I know.
Oh, you chose that house? All right, then I guess we're not friends anymore.
And the funny thing is,
really, dude, that's what you're gonna base our friendship on? And yeah, sometimes it's that easy.
Keep going. I want to see how the story goes.
That they kind of just stopped talking after that. They met each other.
Does one sink into a deep depression and become an alcoholic?
They still share the same friends, so one of them they eventually saw each other again at the wedding of another of their in between friends, and they kind of made up.
And that friend was the third house, right?
And
then fisticuffs broke out on the dance floor.
That friend didn't really play video games, and both of them they're like, "So did you ever beat Fire Emblem 3 Houses?" And I'm like, actually, I never even finished it. Me neither. And that was it.
Well, at least they're on good terms again.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If those guys were new to Fire Emblem, if those guys came in through Fire Emblem Heroes, for example, Nintendo didn't need to give them these 3 houses. They could have literally just HDified the gameplay that existed in, one of the 3DS ones and called it a day. Obviously a new scenario, but they didn't need to reinvent the wheel.
How did 2 Hearts do, or whatever that one's called? 2 houses, 2 friendships, 2 hearts?
What?
No.
The
3DS game after...
Conquest, Birth and Conquer...
Birthright?
And Conquest, whatever those are. They did well. They did well enough to get a third one on 3DS, so that goes.
Were there 2 completely different games?
There are 2 completely different games that shared a third DLC-only ending.
Wait.
There's a black box, a white box, and a third ending.
The epilogue?
Yeah.
Wait, no, are you thinking about the one with... I'm thinking about the one that came with the amiibo with the dude with the green hair and the girl with the pink hair.
You're thinking of Echoes.
Echoes, that's the one I was thinking of.
That's only one version. The one that had 2 versions were Birthright and Conquest.
No, yeah, but that one also had 2 storylines. Which one do you play?
Oh, yeah. They've all done well. That's the crazy thing is Fire Emblem's blowing up right now. Did you know? Just to get an idea of how much it's blowing up. Did you know that Fire Emblem Heroes, since it came out on mobile, has made Nintendo $500 million according to Sensor Tower, who tracks this stuff. For points of reference, Dragalia Lost is currently at 74 million. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp's at 70 million. Mario Run is at 68 million. Fire Emblem Heroes again, 500 million, $500 million.
Jesus.
Yeah, so. Like I was starting to say, if Nintendo just wanted to make a quick and dirty Fire Emblem in HD, they would have an audience and they would be fine. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised to see that they did do the whole Hogwarts shenanigans. Like, one, the fact that Three Houses actually means something and it's just a silly title is nice. But
I will give them that, even though the gameplay overall stays the same for Fire Emblems. I mean, well, at least like the core game,
it does.
Everything around it, they do change significantly, which is really cool about that series.
Yeah, and like this one's really neat because everything that you're used to in Fire Emblem, they figured out a way to make it make sense in this one. Like the bond system, which used to be for forming like relationships. They're like, oh, buddies at school. Who do you hang out with at school? That's who your new bonds are. Or like, training, leveling up, all that. It's just like, oh, you go to class and you take lessons. Like it's really kind of a clever concept. And I'm sure ultimately the story's going to evolve into some crazy tale where you as the professor of these students have to help with them save the world or whatever. But I do like that.
Characters better not come out in Smash Brothers though.
Yeah, seriously. But I do like that.
They just gave Echo, so at least they calm down, I guess.
For now.
Yeah.
Just wait. I was actually surprised at how little Fire Emblem there was in the Direct. I thought they'd do like at least 2 announcements. Remember that time they had like 4 Fire Emblem announcements in a single Direct?
Oh, well.
Yeah. They had the DLC, they had the tease of Switch, they had Echoes, and then they had the Amiibo or something, but they're all separate. Anyway, I will say, school thing aside, production values actually look pretty good. I mean, the environments and the battle maps are a bit whatever, but I like how the characters in the world actually match how they look in the fully animated cutscenes now. They look full anime. Like, it's no more like chibi, not chibi, chibi again, not chibi again. They have feet. They don't have feet. They walk on stumps. What? Like, they actually got past that.
Limitation, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. So, at this point, I'm just curious to see, like, what else they can do with this school idea. Like, I think in many ways, the school thing is actually a play to the newcomers from Heroes and to longtime fans. Because the school setting means that they decide to over-explain how the game works. It doesn't feel forced because, like, that's literally the setting. You are learning about things in the world of Fire Emblem. You go to school. But it also provides a different enough scenario that the core fans, like, it stands out against those other Fire Emblems that the core fans will still probably play it and be happy. Which, frankly, is a good thing in my book that stands out because I still am kind of getting Fire Emblem fatigue. Like, don't get me wrong. The games are always very well made.
And I haven't played any.
Exactly, yeah.
No, I haven't played any.
No, you haven't. You prefer Advance Wars, right?
No, I played most of Sacred Stones, whichever one was on
Game Boy Advance.
The 3D, the
3DS. The DS, the Ambassador Program one.
Yeah, which is basically the Game Boy Advance.
Yes, the original Game Boy Advance. Yeah. But yeah, I like all the games are very well made. I enjoy them.
I don't know why I stopped. Probably because Tales exists, but you know.
Sounds about right. Or you knew in however many years Resident Evil 2.
No, I think Tales of Abyss came out on 3DS, and then
that is what happened. I remember because I think you talked about it on the show because that was in our first year or something. Mm-hmm. But anyway,
love that game.
Yeah, what was I starting to say? Oh yeah, the fatigue. Like they were starting to feel a little samey. Like, yeah, they do different things. You're right. Each have a different scenario, but like that's actually what I liked about Echoes so much. Is Echoes did something different, at least for us Western fans. It was the first time we got to have those third-person exploration segments here in the West. And Three Houses seems to be shaking up things in other ways too, so I'm kind of hopeful that we're going to get something a little more unique, but I'm going to still take a wait-and-see approach. Like, I had the opportunity to pre-order the Seasons of Warfare edition, that $100 special edition comes with, like, a soundtrack. You did
that because you're, like, a smart person.
I didn't. That's my point. Yeah, it comes with a lot of cool stuff. Art book, soundtrack, a steel bookcase, a little 2020 calendar with art for each month. And I had it in my Amazon cart, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm over my fatigue. I don't know if the school setting's enough, and I actually backed out.
Huh.
So
smart man.
Yeah, so I guess I know where you stand. I mean, you don't really play Fire Emblems because you have Tails. So you're definitely not getting this one, it sounds like. But
yeah,
I am curious if they do local...
Gotta get ready for that unannounced... confirmed Tales game, but unannounced specifically for Switch. Yeah.
I am curious if they're going to do a sort of multiplayer with 2 Joy-Cons on one system for Fire Emblem, because then that's an opportunity that you could maybe dabble in it on someone else's copy.
That's true.
Yeah. So like, I mean, whether or not I get Three Houses or you dabble in Fire Emblem, I do like how what Three Houses and Dragon Quest and all these games, all these Japanese anime games, whatever you all call them, I like what they've done is they're creating an audience for Nintendo to experiment with like other games that share that kind of look and feel. They're like Nintendo's more invested in like the anime game world than they ever were. Like Astral Chain is arguably the prime example of this. I mean, could you imagine a game like that, complete with that cyberpunk anime style, coming out on Nintendo system 6 or 7 years ago, published by Nintendo, maybe 8 years ago? Like, it's because they've started going more into this world that they're able to do that. And I'm very glad it's here because it looks super cool. Like that trailer
does look pretty unique. I'll give it that.
Yeah, like the trailer didn't explain anything. I don't know how any of
it feels very Platinum Games, and that's like, oh, it's Platinum.
It is Platinum Games. It feels it's very like Bayonetta with a different combat system, kind of, but it looks cool. Like they didn't explain a thing in the trailer, but then they put out information after the direct, and it's actually kind of neat. So you have this person you're attached to, or not? You're the person, and you're attached to this like creature thing. It's called a Legion. It has a bunch of different combo styles you can enact, where you can have you and the Legion fight the same enemy at the same time. You can have the two of you fight different enemies, but you're sort of chained together, so you can't go too far apart. You can have the Legion do the fighting, and you support with items, and there's always different scenarios where you have to do all different combinations of these. And again, it just looks super cool in motion. Like, it looks so good, and there's also a lot of talent behind it, which means like it's not just like, oh, this is really showy and there's nothing there. Like, they have, besides it being just Platinum Games, they have it being directed by the guy that did Nier. Wow, I can't talk.
Nier Automata.
Thank you, Nier Automata. The designer of that game, I'm not gonna say his name, but the designer of that game is directing this game, and then Hideki Kamiya. Wow, I'm losing.
You said it right the first time.
Oh, I did. Hideki Kamiya.
Well, Kamiya, but
Kamiya. I mean, okay, he's the guy
that's your equivalent of Kojima.
No, I say Kojima now, years later. But yeah,
Kamiya.
Kamiya, thank you. He is supervising the game, and he did Bayonetta, Wonderful 101, Devil May Cry.
Still working on Bayonetta 3?
They are still working on Bayonetta 3. It probably won't be out this year, but they are still working on Bayonetta 3.
I guess with the rate that he's also producing a game, it's like...
I mean, he's supervising this one, so he's kind of a little...
I know, exactly, but it's like, oh, he's on the office today? Like, I guess I'll have to wait till Monday to get this checked.
This game's delayed. Yeah, but it's just...
I can't improve it without Kamiya, so...
But yeah, it's... This talent behind this game gives me confidence that's going to be super, super cool. And it looks super cool. I love the cyberpunk aesthetic. It's really cool. And what's crazy is it's coming out so soon. Like Bayonetta was announced
like we have a new favorite franchise for you.
Maybe Bayonetta was announced like a year ago and still isn't anywhere to be seen. Daemon X Machina was announced a year ago and is coming out at the same time roughly as Astral Chain. And Astral Chain just out of nowhere, like, yep, see October or August 30th. So, yeah. And I like honestly, Daemon X Machina. I feel like if Nintendo wasn't priming the pumps with the type of games that made Astral possible, we may not have gotten Daemon X Machina for the same reason. And like Astral, it's also out this summer. Unlike Astral, we actually were able to get a taste of it right after a direct, courtesy of a 4-mission early access demo that they called the prototype missions. What'd you think? Did you check it out?
I did. I mean, I don't know. The visuals were cool enough. I don't know. Everything about it is like
aesthetically pleasing.
Something felt satisfying. Like some of the movement, everything felt like it was just like a couple inches off of like, yes, this feels right. Everything kind of felt rough, I guess. But I mean, it's a prototype demo, and I know they want a lot of feedback, so it's like, I don't know, something just isn't clicking, and I don't know, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll cut them some slack because it's literally labeled version 0.1 on the title screen. Like, yeah, there's definitely frame rate issues, there's resolution issues. Like, the thing, I don't even know what resolution it's running in, but it doesn't seem like the right one.
It feels like it has a lot of potential.
Yeah, like, to me, it really felt like if Star Fox and Custom Robo had a love child. Like, I've seen comparisons online to Armored Core, which I've never played, so I can't relate to that. But basically, like, the way I felt it came off as is like, think of it as like Star Fox's all range mode meets the kind of like duck and cover, obstacle dodging, robot customization, or in this case they're called arsenals, of Custom Robo. And honestly, if the story, like,
why can't they just call them mechs?
Why can't they just call it Custom Robo? Like, if the story went in a different direction, this could have totally been a like the evolution of the Custom Robo franchise. But then again, to be fair to Daemon X Machina, the backstory of like AI that's been hijacked to corrupt other AI, called like AI that's been hijacked by other AI that's corrupt and are now called immortals, trying to take over humanity because the moon came crashing down and we're in a post-apocalyptic future. Like, that's certainly a more interesting plot than Custom Robo's. Like, it's like Pokemon, but you have a robot. So I get why it's not actually Custom Robo, by keeping like, oh, there should be Custom Robo. I love Custom Robo. But yeah, as a fan of both Custom Robo and Star Fox, I do like how it kind of does meld them together. It's rough, but the potential, I see the potential there. I think like right off the bat, even just in the demo, there were so many customization options. I mean, your character, your mech, the controls. Did you notice you can actually set the controls, any button you'd like to do anything, and then have 3 separate pre-saved custom controls? They had 3 empty slots to do any control scheme you want, plus the 2 they built in. and that's on top. That's on top of all the little tweaks to like sensitivity. Like they want you to make the experience as much yours as you can, and the fact that was there in a prototype I was kind of impressed. Like usually there's like, well, we'll bake it in later, but it was there right at the start. Like that, they seem to have their heads on straight with how to approach it, which is good. But in terms of like actually playing, like maneuvering around levels and finding, you're right. It felt at least to me, a little off. Like when you're like in the groove of it, sliding on the ground or boosting around in the air, you can kind of get into like a running gun rhythm as you take down enemies. That's pretty fun. It's actually, I do like that you can fly lure at any time, and then you can use a combo of that and boosting through it, kind of swing your way around the stage pretty quick. But yeah, it's a little rough. Another nice touch I thought was if you take too much damage, you don't just die. You actually could pop out of your mech and run around on the ground and get really a sense of the scale of some of these big bosses and stuff. Because there's a little guy with this little turret gun, and you're getting crushed in squad. Like that, there's no way to get back in your mech, which is a weird oversight, but it's a nice touch. I think where it feels more Star Foxy than anything else is probably that the presentation, at least for me. Like you're paired up with other mech pilots. There's constant banter between them. They're all flying alongside you or need your help or need you to do something or get something. Like it felt very much like Falco and Slippy and Peppy kind of talking in your ear. I don't know if it's been confirmed or not, but I think it actually would be ripe for like online co-op. Like just swap out those AI people with actual teammates.
Star Fox missions thrown in there with Star Fox crashing the party like he did.
No, don't do that. Leave that to Starlink. But no, this is its own world. But that's kind of the Star Fox parallel I picked up. But yeah, there's definitely room for improvement, like you were saying. I mean, besides not being able to get back into your mech, I think they could definitely fine tune even small things like the time it takes you to come back down to the ground when you're flying is so slow. And I know you can get an item that lets it speed up, but like the default speed should definitely be faster. And even little things like how easy it is to spot items, I feel like there should be clear beacons of where items are and all that. But really, these are nitpicks. What's there, I think, has a lot of potential. Like I really like the cel shaded look and the overall style. The menu, the UI, they're all slick, although sometimes a little hard to read because they're small fonted. But the world is like this cool mix of Mad Max post-apocalyptic reds and yellows, like with kind of almost like a industrial city aesthetic. And I don't know. I think what's most surprising is like in sharp contrast to something like Yoshi's Crafted World, this demo is long. There's a lot of stuff here, and it's actually difficult.
Yeah, I think what is it? The Bravely Default demo?
Exactly, or it was this Project Octopath Traveler back before they dropped Project and it's made it Octopath. Actually, it is Project Octopath Traveler. It's the exact same idea of you play the game, they email you a survey, you give feedback, and go straight to the dev teams. So, or you just listen to this podcast because I was getting real granular there. But no, I was gonna say that there's actually a challenge here. Like, there's a challenge. There's different types of gameplay shown. I appreciate that. We had all-out shootouts, we had boss battles, we had a sort of like defend your base mode, kind of like Call of Duty's Zombies. They say it's an escort mission, but you're escorting a static building, so I don't really think it's escorting in the traditional video game sense. But, yeah, I found that, like, as I was actually playing through it, I played it for probably, 90 minutes, a little more. I found that it did actually require me to start customizing my arsenal to properly adapt to what's happening in the different scenarios. Like, the core concept is there. So, like I said, potential's here. It's just kind of rough. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It comes out supposedly this summer, but they still have to collect all the feedback and everything. Octopath Traveler, I think it was about a year between when they did the demo, the Project Octopath Traveler extended demo, and then the final game. So I'm not holding my breath that Daemon X Machina is coming out in summer, but supposedly it is.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But that pretty much encompasses what the Direct had to offer. What was kind of surprising what wasn't there. For example, we heard nothing about any of the games confirmed for 2019 outside of Fire Emblem. Nothing on Luigi, nothing on Animal Crossing, obviously nothing on Pokemon. They do their own thing. Likewise, long-rumored titles just weren't there. Metroid Prime Trilogy wasn't there. Star Fox Grand Prix, nowhere to be seen. Metroid, I kind of get. Like, maybe they want to release it closer to Prime 4's full release. Who knows? But Star Fox Grand Prix, that one kind of seemed like a shoo-in. Like, if the rumors were true, it would make sense to have Star Fox Grand Prix be in this Direct. And what's funny is that while we didn't get a Star Fox racing game, we did in the Direct get a game where Star Fox can race. Just not a full-on racing game. Specifically, I'm talking about the new DLC for Starlink, where you can actually play as Peppy and Falco and Slippy, and you take down specifically Andrew, Pigma, and Leon of Starwolf.
Did they announce toys to accompany them? I don't remember.
They did not announce toys at all.
Huh.
But I just think it's cool that we're getting to be the not Fox and Wolf people. Like it's nice to see the second. The supporting cast get a chance to shine. It literally
just feels like a full-fledged Star Fox game at this point.
It is. I'm probably going to double dip. That was probably all it took. But
I'm definitely more interested in this than I was in Star Fox Zero.
It's and from what I played at E3, Starlink is actually pretty fun. From what I've read of reviews, it's actually pretty good. It's just the toy thing.
Yeah.
But the thing I was like honing in on.
It seems annoying to have to if you want to change different parts on the toy, to change weapons.
You could do it digitally too.
No, yeah, I know you can, but everything about doing it on the toy just feels pointless.
I could see if you're a kid it being super cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but as
I guess that's the whole Skylanders thing.
As mature adults,
people with time, I ain't got time for that.
You only have time for which games? Oh, you didn't take the bait. Resident Evil 2, Smash Bros, and Tails. Come on. I literally fed you the time.
I don't know what you're even talking about.
Oh, yeah, you don't play those games at all? Weird. No, but the thing I wanted to bring up with Starlink was...
They're not the only thing I have time for. Just that
the games you have time for.
It's just that their existence prevents me from playing other specific games.
Fair.
Yeah. I could still play a bunch of other games.
The point I was going to make about... the point I was going to make about Starlink is... we're talking about the cool new missions for Star Fox. There was a throwaway 2 seconds in that footage of starships racing, and that caught my eye because the starships racing were Star Fox R-Wings, and they're racing. And now if you go back and look at what Star Fox Grand Prix was supposed to be, a strong single-player component, branching paths, ways to progress your character and level them up, a hub world, a crossover with another game. Starlink kind of has all of those things, just in a different configuration than the rumor suggested. So I think there's a couple possibilities here. Star Fox Grand Prix may have never existed. It may have been a very weird miscommunication of Starlink. Or Star Fox Grand Prix kind of existed, as did Starlink. Wires got crossed. Star Fox Grand Prix never moved forward, but they salvaged some of it to do the racing idea inside Starlink and just handed it to Ubisoft. We're not going to do anything with it. Because there's no way they're coming out with 2 Star Fox racing games in 2019. No, that's not happening.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's pretty much like what you said. Maybe someone saw something, thought it was that, because that's just what they saw. Kind of like the Smash Brothers leaks.
Yeah.
A long time ago, they saw pretty much all of them were correct, except Chorus Kids never happened. But as we later learned, at least with some of the older Smash Brothers, a lot of the characters that were quote unquote leaked that never made, Mewtwo is gonna be in Smash and Brawl, but then never happened. And then later we learned his data's in there. He was actually planned, so they probably saw it in mid development and
it's very much
leaked it, and there you go.
Remember Pokemon Stars? Before the Switch came out, there's a rumor they're going to launch with the 3rd version of Sun and Moon. You know what Pokemon Stars was? Oh, we saw these animations of all these HD Pokemon that run alongside you. Pokemon Let's Go does that. Yeah, people take what they see and run with it.
Yeah, I guess it was only because those animations were of Pokemon not in Let's Go that can't be in Let's Go.
Oh, that's true.
Because they were all.
But they might have been prototyping using existing assets.
Yeah, because obviously the next, I'm pretty sure, and it's safe to say because Pokemon Following You have been in the core games before, and
Gen 8 will do it for sure.
Yeah, Gen 8 will do it for sure. So and those Pokemon will obviously be in Gen 8. Gen 8 will have every main Pokemon game always has every Pokemon. So
yeah.
They're probably just priming that.
Probably. Yeah. But in the case of Grand Prix, I think there very well probably was a Star Fox Grand Prix at some point, and then again, something happened with Starlink and they got wires crossed and people got confused and then people ran with the story. The thing that was weird about Grand Prix is it was backed by so many legit sources. It wasn't just the insiders. Kotaku, Jason, what's his name from Kotaku? He's very reliable. He breaks a lot of stories about labor issues and bigger game industry things, and he said he heard about it. And then IGN, they apparently saw it at some point and described the graphics. It was more than just a dude on Twitter who's yeah, I know a thing, and then 2 other guys who like to be insiders being I have heard similar things to the thing he said. What is the thing he said? I don't know, but yes, he's right. It's bigger than that. So there was a Star Fox Grand Prix in some capacity, and I'm kind of bummed it ended up just being this, because it's cool that it's there in Starlink, don't get me wrong, but I thought the idea of Star Fox Grand Prix actually had a lot of potential. I was pretty excited for it. I still think a Diddy Kong Racing sequel would have made more sense in that mindset.
Yeah.
But I thought the Grand Prix idea was kind of clever. The weird thing that comes out of this is, so if there is no Star Fox Grand Prix, and if Retro only just started on Metroid Prime 4 recently, what were they doing for the past 3 years? Supposedly it was Star Fox Grand Prix, but that never materialized. Was it that bad that they canned the whole thing? I don't think it was ever
Star Fox Grand Prix, but I'm also someone that just doesn't assume things.
Yeah, I'm just going off what like insiders said, but these insiders were
insiders.
No, but I mean like they were like Kotaku and IGN and those guys, like not just like you know, actual journalists.
I feel like they're as reliable as...
No, they're more reliable. Because if you get that stuff wrong with any frequency, you lose credibility, and if you lose credibility, no one goes to. I mean, does anyone look at Eurogamer for Switch rumors anymore? Not really, because they got things wrong with Pokemon Stars and something else that I'm forgetting, and now like they're not a source for insider Switch information at all. They lost that entire market because they got it wrong.
I didn't even know they were.
They were actually the ones that leaked the picture of what the Switch would look like the patent picture.
Yeah, which I guess is also why I like being out of that life.
Yeah,
because like those patent reveals of like how when the 3DS got like leaked super early, or the Switch, like it's just such a buzzkill.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to tell you about the new one that leaked. There was a leak on.
You could tell me it exists, but just don't tell me what it looks like.
Well, this is not just a system. It was. We'll probably talk about it next episode because there's not much. Actually, there's not even much to say about it. But Nintendo might be dabbling in VR with the Switch, and it might be a headset that you slip the Switch into, and it does VR. There you go. That's the whole rumor.
Oh, I feel like
people have found references to VR in the source code of the system. And now, and remember Emily Rogers? She wrote a thing for Nintendo World Report saying she's heard similar. And her batting average isn't horrible. Hers is pretty decent. So make of that what you will.
That's underwhelming.
Yeah, you thought it'd be something core.
Well, yeah, because I feel like people have been saying that forever since the Switch came out. It's like, look how easy it could be for them to do it.
And now they're doing it. Yeah,
it's just a matter of them doing it. But
that might be their new like, Labo didn't work. Let's try.
The only thing is like, I mean, it has to produce 2 full like high-res screens at once, and it's gonna split it in half. Quality. So, like, it's either gonna die in battery so fast, or this current version of the Switch will only be able to do it at like maybe like half the frame rate, like 30 frames or something. And then there's gonna be like a new model that's like pretty much like the Pro, like the PlayStation Pro. Like they both play the same games, but one can play it obviously at a much better fidelity. So the other one would be like VR. Perfect for VR, built for VR, I guess. And the other one that's like can support VR, barely.
Yeah, that's probably how it's gonna go. Because I mean, there was a lot of speculation that the new Switch that's coming isn't a Switch Mini, it's a Switch Pro, and everyone's like, nah. Or like the internet wanted that, and then the Wall Street Journal and Nikkei and all those were like, no, that's not what's happening. But it doesn't mean a Switch Pro can't happen. Nintendo has a history of doing half spec bumps, like the DSi or the.
Some of them aren't even really announced.
New 3DS or the Game Boy Color had a spec bump.
They also have a history of downgrading their systems.
Yeah, they do a downgrade, then they do an upgrade. Yeah. That's usually the pattern. So it'd be Mini this year, Pro.
Well, I meant like how like the Switch went from having GameCube support to not GameCube support. What? The Wii.
Oh, the Wii. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that was the budget last Hail Mary to get over 100 million.
That thing got literally stripped down, like all the way to the end to like the Wii Mini, where like it literally just like the bare bones disk drive of the Wii.
Yeah, and it didn't even have like it was like a GameCube.
Couldn't even connect to the internet.
Nope, it was very stripped down. Yeah. It was literally just like, let's see how many more Switches or Wiis we can sell.
They're literally using like the least amount of money possible.
Seriously, that thing was. I mean, it looked okay. It was just not the best design, but it's all right. It's kind of Fisher Pricey, but whatever. Yeah. But yeah, there was one other game that was brought up in the Direct, and then nothing was said about it. So it kind of falls under the what wasn't there bucket, I'd say. And that was one of the games you actually play, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah, which might as well not have been in this Direct because they're like, version 3.0 is coming. What's going to be in it, you ask? You have to wait to find out. It's like
they did show the first in-game model of Joker.
Yeah, like barely.
I know.
It's like, I don't know. I hate this. Like, I literally hate that.
I will say, if they don't release...
Don't even tell... Especially because it feels like version 2.0 just came out.
Yeah.
Even though, albeit, it was just an over-glorified, like, balanced adjustment. Like, I feel like that one didn't have to be a version 2.0. It could just been, like, 1 point something. They didn't really add anything. This one feels like they're building it...
Multiplayer spirit mode.
Exactly. They put nothing in it. Like, it feels like
I love Spirit Board.
But, I mean, it should have been like a 1.5. This one feels like they're building it as like we're actually going to add some substantial stuff. You'll wait and see.
I think one thing they have to add, one thing they really have to add, they were supposed to do it early in 2019. Now it's April probably with 3.0, but they haven't even confirmed this. Where is Smash World? I know it's an insignificant thing that no one's going to care about.
Probably come with 3.0 maybe.
But it'll probably come with 3.0. But like they got it. They have the app. They have the Switch app. They have this thing of like watch pros play, watch like videos, watch highlights of your friends. But they have no anything about when it's happening, how it will work, when it will work, who it will work, what it will work, why it will work. I think I've hit all the questions. But yeah, we know literally nothing. So hopefully in April that shows up. I honestly suspect Nintendo's doing the 3.0 thing because there's like people are gonna ask about Smash. If we don't feature Smash, people are gonna be like, "Where's Smash?" So at least we can say we hear you. Where they're like preemptively being like, "We see you," but it was kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, they also wanted to get more amiibo, which I haven't got
that's
from the
why
new
they
one.
brought it up. It was for the amiibo. I'm surprised you didn't get any of the amiibo. Aren't you?
I haven't gotten any of those yet.
Okay, are you going to?
I don't know. I was at Best Buy. I saw the Ridley one, and I'm like, I obviously love Ridley as a character.
So why didn't you get it?
And I just couldn't get myself to buy it.
It's like me with the special edition of Fire Emblem.
It's like, I don't know. I just couldn't. I don't know. Maybe I'll get King K. Rool just because I like him more.
It's a fat amiibo. I mean that both with a PH and an F. Like it's cool looking and it's physically very large.
I don't know. It's weird. It's like, it's a whole like you can't just get some. Like I would want to get all the new characters, but then it's like I don't really want to get Daisy. I don't really want to get who else is someone new that I don't really care about?
Piranha Plant. You're welcome.
He'd be a cool amiibo.
Interesting. I thought you'd be against that, or not against it, but indifferent.
I mean, I just said like he exists already, so like
that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, mainly just I guess Daisy. Yeah,
that's fair.
Oh, Isabelle. Yeah, I don't need an Isabelle amiibo. Don't you already have an Isabelle amiibo?
I do not.
Huh. I would get an Isabelle amiibo if.
Why did you assume I have an Isabelle amiibo?
I don't know, because you seem like you would have one.
I do, but I don't.
Because I know if you're lucky enough, in some GameStops, you could find Amiibo Party or whatever it's called.
Animal Crossing Amiibo Party? No.
Festival. Yeah, if
like
you're
the Disney Tsum Tsum Festival.
If you're lucky enough, you could find that game for 2 cents on GameStop.
What?
Yeah, with the Amiibo.
I want to do that.
So every once in a while, when I go to a GameStop, I'll just literally go in just to look for that because I'm like, I wouldn't mind getting a game for 2 cents.
If
with
they have
an Amiibo.
2 copies, can you get me one?
No.
Okay.
I'll take a picture of it and
send it to me and be like, haha, sucks to be you. And on that note, that does it for this episode. Unless you have anything else. That's just you denying me my 2-cent amiibo feels like the right way to end this show. We don't really have what we're playing this week because we kind of talked about it as we went through the episode. But we'll be back in 2 weeks with what we've been playing. I promised Pool Park.
What have you been playing?
Pool Panic. I will have impressions. Also, we have a new game to check out called Battle Loon, which it's weird because it's published by Sony, but it's on Switch. So you can look forward to those impressions, plus, of course, the latest news and all that. So to make sure you don't miss it, you can subscribe to us on whatever podcast app you use. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, over at our channel, RamNintendo.com, TuneIn, which is both a thing you should do in 2 weeks and a service we are on, and others that I'm blanking out on. You can ask Alexa for us. That works. You can ask Google for us. That works. Anyway, you can also follow us on Twitter at RamNintendo. I'm JSR7 on Twitter. Angel is Wero, WEIRO_O on the Twitters. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. And in the meantime, if you have not experienced the glory of Tetris 99, I highly recommend you do. It will change your life, at least for a minute or two.